Welcome, guys, to my Traitors US episodes 1 through 4 recap and review. We are back for another Traitors recap. This time, the US version, which personally my favorite version. Of all the versions that I've watched, I actually like the US version. Season 1 was great. And so I was very excited for season 2. And so far, the style is meeting my expectations. I will say that. With me, joining me is Miss T Joy, dressed for a funeral.
Yes, ma'am. I had to come in here just for the funeral. The funeral, baby. Because it was, I loved it. I loved that funeral. Oh, it was everything. I'm like, whew, I need black horses and with long wavy hair at my funeral.
When he slammed that coffin down, I was like,
I
yes,
know.
yes. And also joining me, my fellow Traders Canada recapper is Janelle Michelle. How are
Hi
you,
guys.
Janelle? Can you hear me? How
Yeah,
are you?
good. I'm good. I'm excited to talk about it. I was seething for yesterday's episode. I now cannot wait till next week.
Yes.
Not liking these getting 3 episodes now dropping down to one is such a tease.
It's such a
No,
tease.
I want to watch the next episode.
And welcome to the chat. We have, here's this. This is Kicking It with Kay. Hi,
Hey,
Kicking It
kicking
with
it.
Kay. Said hi, Miss TJ.
Hola.
And so yeah, I will say personally, I was worried because the last version of US that we watched had civilians and had reality TV stars involved, and I was wondering what a full reality TV cast was going to bring to the situation. Cuz I kind of felt like last year's cast had like a right mix, but we know that at the end of the season, unfortunately, the way things ended up, it made people upset who are not actual reality TV
Exactly.
personnel. And so they decided to just do a full reality TV cast.
Yeah, they
And
were so hurt. They were
yeah,
so hurt. And the one that still hurt is Ari, which was a reality TV star, and he seems like he hurt the worst. And I'm very confused by this whole thing. It's like it's a game. It is still a game. You signed up for a game, and it's called Traitors.
right.
I don't get it. I
Yeah.
don't get it.
I'm thinking that having all reality stars is not going to make a difference in some people being butthurt. I think
That's what
they're still,
that's what I'm about to
yeah.
say. So, welcome, Rachel. Hi, how are
Hey,
you? Rachel
Rachel.
says, "Hey, ladies, this is my first season watching, and I love it. Great. That's good to know. I will say, so watch. Like, yes, Ari put out a statement on his Instagram talking about that he did not like the way Sari played and tagged Sari and Quentin and Andy. And my whole thing is." You're tagging Andy and Quentin, but if you had stayed in the game like you wanted to, you would have took their money too.
Exactly.
They weren't ever
Exactly.
going to get money if you stayed in the game. So either way, you guys were like, either way, they weren't winning. So I'm a bit confused how you could
Exactly.
be salty. And then Quentin's like, oh, resharing it. Oh, my man Ari always speaking the truth. The truth? He was going to take your
Take your
money.
money.
And he has way more of it than you do.
Exactly.
And Sari does. Sari had
Exactly.
never won a game. Well, no, she won a partial for Snake in the Grass, right?
Yes.
But she had never won a major prize by
Right.
herself in a game. And so it's so funny Quentin's taking up for Ari, who is a millionaire, as
Hello?
based on his content, based on him and his wife's content.
Yes.
To
When he
be
came on The Bachelor, that was obvious. Like he had money. Yes.
so I mean, I think it's a little disingenuous, just a slight. But so considering that information, I agree with Janelle that I think, and watching some of these personalities, I do think some of these people are about to be salty.
Mhm.
I do absolutely think that.
Yeah, you know what? Because they have egos. You're right. You're right. Because they have egos and they're used to it being all about them. So I'm sure, like Johnny Bananas is so hurt that he was the first one out. He is very upset about that.
That
So
that murder was wild to me. That was a real, like, we gonna stab in the dark and take out a name.
yeah,
And I was shocked at that one, but I also listen, this is what the fifth season of something that Johnny Bananas has been on for this year, within this year period. So
right.
sorry for you, Bananas, but I also am okay with not watching. I just watched you on House of Villains. You were just on the Challenge USA prior to that, and I think he did a season of the Challenge prior to that, like,
Right.
which I didn't watch that season. But dude, you're good.
We're good.
We're
We're good on you.
good. So if I can go through some, like, all of this cast, it's a lot of names. But we do have let's see, Real Housewives. We have Phaedra Parks. We have what's her name? Sheree
Tamara Judge.
Sheree
Okay.
Whitfield. We
Mhm.
have Larsa Pippen, who brought along or joined with her boyfriend Marcus Jordan, who, yes, is Michael Jordan's son. We have some other Bravo celebrities, as we call them: Tamara Judd, uh, MJ, I think, and then we had challenge folks, which are Steve, uh, Michelle, Johnny Bananas. Then we had two iconic Big Brother players, Dan and Janelle. And then we had Love Island. We had Ekin-Su from Love Island UK, Bergie from Love Island US, and then we have Kevin, who I forget which one he was.
Bling.
Bling
Bling Empire.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we had Peppermint from RuPaul's Drag Race. We
Mhm.
had Max from Dancing with the Stars. We had another Bachelor, Pilot Pete. Uh,
Mhm.
and we have Parliament Speaker of the House of Commons, John McCrow. And we have boxer Deontay Wilder. I think
Mhm.
that was all of it.
Did you do the
Yeah.
Survivor?
Oh, sorry, did
Yuri and
Survivor.
Sandra.
Yeah. So Survivor, we have Sandra from Survivor and Parvati
Yeah.
from Survivor, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
But like, the cast is stocked.
It
um,
is. Yeah.
so it was really, like, truthfully, I was excited for the cast because I was like, oh, they really did go and kind of knock this cast out of the park.
Yeah, they did.
And so, as they're arriving in the cars, it's funny because the first person, Parvati, was it Parvati? Parvati said she don't want to see you, Sandra, and it's like, girl, she in the other car.
Right.
So just
Soon
knock
as
it
you
out
say
the
you don't want to see somebody, they bringing them. Soon as you say that,
Exactly.
it's like,
Miss T Joy, do you watch Survivor?
I do. I
Yeah.
do watch, but I did not watch back when they were on.
Oh,
I'm a
girl.
recent Survivor
Hmm.
person,
Yeah.
so but I've gone and looked at their social media. I've listened to Rob Has a Podcast, so I kind of have the back history of their beef, like, like who's the real queen of Survivor. I have the back history of their beef, but I wasn't in it when they were going through it. But I had the back
Oh, I
history.
wasn't on social media, but yeah, season 20 is a season to go back and watch. One of my favorites.
Okay.
Season 16 as well.
Okay.
Epic. She should have won Parvati, but that's my opinion.
You would have to say the names, and then I would, because I don't know the season numbers. So.
Look, I decided to dress for the funeral, but I did have a headband on standby. I was like, am I gonna dress like Parvati or the funeral? So I
Oh,
chose the funeral.
find me some of those headbands. People are clowning her, but I like it.
I love a good headband, but hers
Yeah,
are they are big because I think her head is smaller, so it just kind of
Yeah,
looks.
yeah.
But I do love
I
a good
think this episode 4, she wasn't wearing it a few times. I was like, oh, I like that a little better. There's some of them that makes her hair look thinner, and which makes it not look good. And then there were some of them I was like, oh, I like that headband, that
I like
outfit.
the
I think
red
the
one.
white outfits, I like that one. And then I liked the green one she wore when she first came in as a traitor. Sorry, guys, we're skipping a little bit. But when she first came into Traitors Tower, she was wearing the green cloak and she came with the green headband. I like that one.
The white outfit made me think of you, Tamika.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
definitely my aesthetic.
Yeah,
Like
she said she was channeling from
Gossip
Gilmore Girl, Gossip Girls. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
Billy
yeah,
Blair.
Blair,
Yeah,
which I'm not a big Gossip Girl
I don't
fan,
watch it.
but
I used to love Gossip
I,
Girl.
I definitely
Really?
Blake Lively. Oh, I used to love Gossip Girl.
Mhm. So yes, fashion aside, because to me, all of them are bringing the fashion. That's the
Oh
one
yes,
other thing.
bringing
That's
it,
the one other thing,
bringing it.
because I know even the funeral, all
Woo,
these people are
bringing it,
bringing the fashion.
bringing it. Yes.
They said they were
Alan Cummings is bringing it as well. Like
exactly.
the funeral, they was dressed to the gods for the funeral, honey, with his cape, train, dragon. I was like,
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
walking.
So I will say that's the one thing about having a full reality TV cast. We getting fashion. We getting
Right.
fashion left and right. So
Yes.
who did you guys initially think would be chosen as traitors?
I didn't think anybody in particular. I thought it was going to be like definitely a gamer, somebody from a competition show. I thought a housewife, and then somebody from another show. That's what I thought the combination was going to be, something like that. I had my hopes for who I wanted to see, but I thought it was going to be a mixture like that. I thought the twist with them choosing one was interesting. I liked it.
Yeah. So I definitely thought like Dan would definitely be
Me too.
one. I thought Bergie might be one. I thought it might be two guys and then a girl.
He can't do it. He can't do it. He cannot do it.
Bergie
He can't lie. He can't do it. It's gonna weigh on his
was one
conscience.
of the smartest ones in episode 3 though. So
No, he's smart, but I'm talking about him being a traitor. It would weigh on him. He would be turning red every 5 minutes if he felt interrogated. Like he just isn't built for the critique, the scrutiny. Like, not saying that he's not smart. He is smart, but I'm just saying, like, people coming at him, he would just be turning red. His hands would be getting clammy. He would be over there nervous, looking around. I just think he would give
Cody
himself
again.
away.
So Cody again.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I
Cody.
think being able to lie like that, like at the drop of a dime, and be able to pivot and spin and take the special person, if you're not used to doing something like that, to having to come up with something on the fly, everybody doesn't have that. I don't think I would necessarily be good at that. If you caught me off guard, I'm a little guilty, like I don't think I would be good at it. So I felt the same about Bergie, because when I met him, I messaged Tamika. I was like, how is this guy on Love Island? Because I just did not.
Where'd you meet him at?
Huh?
Where'd you meet him at?
She means on the show.
On Traitors.
Oh,
sorry. Like when I was introduced to him and I was watching him and getting to know him, I was like, this guy from a love show? Like I just can't picture it. He seems so calm. I'm like, Tamika, she was giving me the lowdown, but like he just seems so super laid back. Like I can't not see him standing up to some of the stronger personalities if they were coming at him, questioning him.
There was times on Love Island that he did, but yeah. I will say he doesn't necessarily like to make waves, but when he does believe, like, when they want to like send Destiny home, remember that? Like he will stand in it. I will say that. Yeah. So there, I will give Bergie that. Bergie's not necessarily a stupid, or because like what this last episode, they're like, oh, he's too dumb. Like I'm not going to sit there and say Bergie was too dumb. Would he be too loyal or trusting or nice in order to do it? I agree. Like, probably not. It would weigh on him eventually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did come in thinking that might be the composition of the traitors. So we know that for every traitors, they choose trade well, usually 2 to 4 traders.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it always starts with 3
Three.
traders.
Mm-hmm.
And then they, cut them loose, bring in new people as we go. In this one, I was very shocked that when they started the round table, he only chose 2.
Me too. Me too.
Um, and so I want to know, did you guys like this? Well, I know Janelle liked the twist because her girl got to the twist.
Yes.
But did you like the twist? Say for who they chose.
I mean, I was okay with it because it's something different.
Mhm.
But initially I was thinking, why not choose 3 and then get them to agree on
Recruit
another and have
another one.
4?
Mhm.
But I was okay with it. I wasn't expecting it. I was okay. And I'm fine when I don't expect things. Like if you're trying to spice things up and keep us on our toes, I'm always gonna be like, okay, I'll go with it. I'll go with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was the same way. I was just like, I don't know about allowing listen, the traders have so much power in this game already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you are providing them with power that is immense beyond that. Because we even see with Canada, like, think about it. When Mike was able to choose Mickey as his new trader and then just
Mm-hmm.
like kind of throw him under the bus,
Yeah.
right? That's the kind of power that you're giving them a shield. And that's
Right.
basically what they did here. They chose a shield.
Dan
Yeah,
So,
and
did.
I thought it was
Dan most definitely did.
yeah.
Phaedra was kind of laid back, like, oh, what you think? I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And Dan like, oh, okay, I'll take the lead. Poverty, yeah,
right. Yeah, Dan won here. Like
yes,
Phaedra, I don't want to say she doesn't care, but her nonchalant attitude about picking it, and I watched some of the post show, and he just really got to do what he wanted here. He
yep,
got to decide, and I don't know how much Phaedra watches reality TV. I have an
he
inkling that she
doesn't.
does not know how these people play.
Nope.
So Dan being able to select someone that he feels he can work with to be a shield for him, that he knows has connection, he really got the leg up with having Phaedra be very, very nonchalant about it. I think that was a mistake on her part, but
Yeah,
I do think it was a mistake on her part
me too.
because I mean,
he doesn't know that.
it was slightly a mistake on her part. The mistake was who they chose, but Parvati kind of is more of a shield for her because it's not a guy, right? So they're gonna go eventually after gender wise, right? Even if they catch Parvati, then it's gonna be in their head. Well, it's got to be one of these guys. It can't be all girls, right? So while it might maybe give him like one round, eventually they're gonna start coming after a guy, and Dan's gonna end up catching the win, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we saw that in episode. That's way ahead, but I feel like we saw a little bit of that in episode 3 with thinking about it has to be a guy,
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I was thinking he was getting the leg up, not more so with the fateful finding. He's getting a leg up by having somebody he can mold and get to do his dirty work because he's putting in her head, we're gonna have to get rid of Phaedra. She never gonna get
I think
banned.
he's
We gotta do this. We gotta
That's what I'm saying. He won in that way because he can get her to be loyal to him and not
right.
turn on him and
she will turn on him.
she can't turn on him now. You know they need each
Yeah,
other.
not right now, but I'm just saying.
But I think
he was nervous.
he will. I think she would turn on Phaedra before she turned on him.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
1,000%. And I honestly think I'm so ahead, but I honestly think Phaedra's gone is good for both of them, in my opinion. But we'll get there.
I'm not sure about that, but we will get there. So yes, we do see that Alan does his little walk around the round table that we will later see somebody being banished on. And he chooses two traitors. Who he chooses is Dan from Big Brother and Phaedra from the
Housewife.
Real Housewives. I think here
Atlanta.
she's supposedly
Married to Medicine.
married
She's
to
on Married to
Madison,
Medicine now.
but no, yeah, because she's not allowed back on Real Housewives of Atlanta,
Rightfully
which is
so.
also a reason why she will be a good traitor because she's a good liar. But anyway,
Hello.
and she's a lawyer. So yeah, I was like, when I saw him choose Phaedra, I was like, okay, yeah, she is a lawyer and she's a liar, and this will work.
And
This
she
will
can
work.
lie with a smile and a southern
He will.
accent.
He will
Mhm.
absolutely lie with no qualms. She will lie like it is the air she is breathing, and she will lie convincingly to herself, which makes it convincingly to it. The way she lies makes you question you and your sanity.
You like, do I know how long it takes for a baby to be born? Now
For
you were
real.
pregnant when now? Wait a minute. Do I? She said,
Yeah,
God, she said the baby
but
gotta come up out of her.
I'm not a fan of Phaedra at all, just from some stuff she did that I don't like on Housewives with Candy
Mhm.
and that whole
Yeah,
accusation.
Mhm.
that was secondary. We're talking
Yeah,
about the stuff she
yeah, I know, but
started, but
I am
that's
not a
what I'm saying. She like I she deservingly does not need to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta because my personal opinion, I agree with Candy. I know a lot of people are like, oh well, Candy's boring. Okay, so then take Candy off, put Phaedra on, and go about your business. But I don't feel like Candy should be subjected to Phaedra, who created a disgusting lie about her.
right. So while I was not necessarily excited to see her, had no idea what she would bring to the show or what she would be like as a traitor, that's what I was thinking when she was selected. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, okay. I am enjoying what she brings to the show. I like her commentary. I like her clapbacks. I like how she's moving. It's
Mhm.
entertaining. It's different
It is.
from
Yeah.
any creator that I've ever seen. I hope she goes down in roaring flames eventually, but I am enjoying what she's bringing currently. And I'm pleasantly surprised because I didn't want to. I'm just
Hi,
like,
Debu.
Hi,
hey,
Deborah.
Debu says, "Who you morning, Miss T Joy? Ekansu ain't all that."
oh,
I just wanted to be a part of the funeral, baby. I just wanted to be a part of it.
So yeah, so when he chose Phaedra, I was like, actually, yeah, you know what? That will work. That will work. And so we do see that after they have this huge, like, chosen moment, he does tell them that they will be able to choose a third person to join them.
did
But
he say?
first,
Did he say third, or did he say
No,
another traitor? He said
another.
another traitor.
another
Yeah.
Some
traitor.
people think there are four. Okay,
Yo, that's
I
right.
thought I missed
Some people
something. I
were
was like, did
thinking
he say
four.
that?
No, he
Yeah,
didn't say the number.
yeah. They could choose another person. That's true. And but then when they were like taking off their blindfolds and stuff, um, well, Janelle is talking about John breathing heavy. He was breathing. Poor thing.
He told her, I have asthma.
I
Excuse
have
me, I have asthma.
asthma, and I'm old.
But I think he was just nervous. But
Oh,
my
he was
thing
so
is,
nervous.
if I heard that from anybody, if I would not confront them right there in the moment. I'd be like, yo, Tamika, did you see what
Where'd
happened?
Tamika go?
I'm sure she'll pop back in. Or Miss T Joy, did you hear such and such? Like, I don't feel like I would have confronted him right there in the moment to let him know that I'm looking at him. Because if he really is a traitor, he's about to kill you. Do you know? Or
I think,
maybe not kill you, but
but I
No,
think it is to cause suspicion right away. It's
yeah.
also to make them seem like I couldn't be the traitor because I'm telling you now, he was breathing hard. So I'm suspecting him. I'm a faithful. And then it's also letting it be out in front of everybody that you suspect him. So if you do die, it's like, she called out John right when we,
See.
you
I mean,
know.
I understand that. That is just not the strategy that I would choose. I was saying Tamika when you popped out, like
mhm.
Janelle calling him out in that moment, I would have been more so like later, a smaller crowd was gathering. I'd be like, Tamika, Did you hear John
Did you
breathing
hear
like that?
how he's breathing?
Yes, I
Like
wouldn't
how
recommend
nervous
it.
is he? Probably because he was
Yes.
frozen. Yeah, I
It
agree.
was
That's how I would have done it. But again, that's why I'll probably be banished. I told you guys I would not be able to play this game because I am quiet. I'm not going to sit there and like yell things out. I'm going to be a little more reserved. Like how Dan said he plays is how I would play. I'm not going to put a name out there for somebody to either use against me or y'all say, "Oh, that person is so smart and whatever." Like I am going to do it sly and undercover and only to my little core group. And so, yeah, no, they're going to be like, Tamika's too quiet. She's a traitor. Kick her out. That's it. And then was this the part where Trishelle and Peppermint? Because there was some one,
no.
two
No,
things
this
that
There
was
was
happened.
Larsa. This was the part
Larsa
where
and Parvati.
Larsa was
Larsa
like,
and Parvati.
Mm-hmm.
I think over here to my left, I felt to my left. I could feel it. I could feel his thing come by that he had hanging his scarf. I felt it, the wind, and I think it was right here. And then Parvy's like, me, I didn't. She like, I felt. I know what I heard. I have very good hearing, very good. That's why I love Larsa and people like Janelle. You need people who are loud and wrong. Like it's entertaining. Like just loud and wrong.
To be fair, there were some times that Larsa was loud and right, and there were some times Larsa was loud and wrong. Either way, she was just loud and it was annoying.
Listen, when she said it, I was like, "Oh, kill her! Come on, let's buy." We got to go. That's immediate reaction. I will say, Miss T Joy, I am one that rides for my favorites. I cannot help myself. If you go for who I like, sorry, you guys. In my mind, sorry, you guys. So I was like, oh, Larsa, I'm not gonna like you. I knew immediately I was not gonna. I've seen her around anyway, but I knew immediately, oh, I'm not gonna like this girl.
Oh, I already know I don't like her. I don't like
But
her.
she's funny. Like
She
makes me
is.
laugh.
I like her for the sake, like you like Phaedra, like for the sake of. I like her for the sake of the show because I'm just like you need this person. But and that's why I love Janelle. I'm so faithful to Janelle. I like I ride for Janelle. So sometimes I'm like Janelle, just calm down, just be. But that's her personality. She just gotta be. She just that's how she play.
And I'll say I'm enjoying like some of my friends or family that are watching and don't know these characters, and they're like Janelle. I'm like, but that's so Janelle to go for a show.
Right.
They don't know her, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, I agree with you. Janelle makes good, interesting TV.
What did you guys think of Phaedra saying Ekansu's brain is on vibrate?
I lost it. I ain't never heard nobody say that in my life. I was like, what did she say?
Me neither. Very, very funny line. So
very funny. I mean, her one-liners are like not. It's not even close. Nobody can deliver them like her.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was like, not her brain is on fire.
So we do see Bergie draws a little suspicion because he's mumbling and stumbling and spilling drinks and like the.
Johnny called him right away. Like that's what I mean. Them strong personalities on Bergie. He was so red. And that's like the moment I messaged you. I'm like, Tamika. He's on a love show.
He was. It went to the hideaway a couple times too. So
yeah.
So let's talk the first mission.
Wait, what's that? What's the hideaway?
On Love Island.
On Love
What
Island.
is that?
Oh, that's like the little room where they supposed to. It's like the Bang Bang room.
Oh,
yeah.
See, I should have got those context clues. Sorry.
So let's see. The first mission was a puzzle mission on the lock. So they are in Scotland, and it was on a lake. And they had to take puzzle pieces from it, like on land, and use those puzzle pieces to determine what the puzzle that was in the water actually would form and become. But they already threw out shields from episode 1. Normally we don't get shields like till episode 1, like 2 or 3. They were just like shielding it up this episode. 3 shields. And then they tied them all up to a pole. It was like, Okay, so y'all got to untie yourselves, then go find the puzzle pieces. Some of y'all got to go in the water and fix the puzzle. It was
It was a lot.
chaos.
God, I
Chaos.
loved it. I loved it.
I
I
liked
love
it.
chaos. And
Yeah.
I like the shields being introduced this way so everybody knows.
Yeah.
I like for everybody to know.
What did you think of Janelle going for the shield like right away?
There goes Janelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally thought it was smart. I thought it was smart. Now, her subsequent shielding, I'm just like Janelle, dude. But this
I
time
think
when
that
when
That's her.
everybody's like, untie me first, Janelle, I was like, fuck that.
Untie yourself.
yeah.
I had to untie myself and go for a shield. You untie yourself and go for something else.
I think that what she's doing is making her look like a faithful. I don't know. Like there's a later conversation about her and they're like, what about Janelle? They're like, no. She's too nervous and scared and worried about a damn shield. She wouldn't be that worried or focused if she was a traitor. So I
Right.
think potentially giving her a little bit of time in this game. I don't know how much time, but
Right.
Yeah, I agree. It does, I think, make her look more like a faithful, but I don't know how long that's going to last because
I agree.
even we know that even as a faithful, if they think that you're not bringing something to the table and distracting and all that stuff, they will kind of kick you out anyway. So
Right. And they think she's selfish.
yeah,
They
yeah,
ain't gonna want a selfish person near the end if they think you're gonna make
Exactly.
choices that are best for you, and not everybody else. So
yeah. But listen, Bananas and CT they took their challenge themselves and was like, we gonna get this because we ain't traitors and we want to stay in this game. And so let's show them that we can make money.
yeah,
Right.
they care about that. They care about that part, but I thought that they really led the charge. I thought that this challenge, like the allotted time, did not seem like enough time to me.
I
It
thought
was
they were
down to
gonna
the
make
wire. I don't even believe they really like.
Thank you.
See,
Thank you. I felt the same thing. I was like, they're lying. They did not make it because it just seemed like it was not possible from when they first were like down to the last one to get together to make. I was like, they don't have enough time.
right? It was like 16 seconds and everybody was in the water. It went by
Thank
so
you.
fast, but I enjoyed the challenge. I think that DT and Bananas were just trying to prove their worth. That's not going
Right.
to matter to these people, but it was a good challenge. I enjoyed it. It was super, super physical. I like that they had to find the map first. I like that it was in the bottles. I like that people were distracted by shields. I like that I like so many aspects of the challenge. I thought it was a great first challenge for the show.
I agree. I think like we have seen prior to this that all versions of traders were doing the same exact challenges over and over again. And so to me, those challenges at some point became stale. I like this. And it didn't just take a physical person to do this. You had to be a little bit mental because who was it? I think it was Sheree figured out that it was a shield, right? So
Right.
I love that. I actually really, really love that. So equitable comps is always going to be my thing. So yes, they did make the money. I think it was $30,000. It was a good
Yep.
start. And good job on them. So we do see later that Trishelle starts this whole thing between her and Peppermint because Peppermint dresses better than her. And I just was like, huh?
She said that? Or that's
No, it
your
was over
assumption?
outfits. It was over outfits. Like, okay,
I'm
they
saying
said
it
Peppermint was like, well,
how
I need
I
to stay
feel
because I
like
have
it
all
really
these
was.
outfits to wear.
Yeah.
And Trishelle was like, oh, me too. And then she was like, oh, I know that my outfits, if we're competing over outfits, if I get killed, I know you did it. You're a traitor. And that was how and then Peppermint just looked, because I think she was just thrown off. She was just like, huh?
Yeah.
And then Trishelle was trying to make it seem like, oh, she got mad the way that she looked and made it this whole big thing that it didn't have to be.
Yeah, I missed the outfit part. I saw the whole exchange. I just missed like the outfit component of it. Yeah, I thought that Peppermint, like you, Miss T Joy, Peppermint was just thrown off by what she said. I think Trishelle was joking, but I think Peppermint was thrown off, and it was a natural reaction. It didn't make,
Mhm.
well, we know the traitors, but it didn't make me suspicious of her. I didn't understand why her reaction, even when they replayed it, was something that. But this people were suspicious of everything in the show. Like,
You
yeah,
know, they
I'm
would
with
come up
you.
with everything because my whole thing is, to me, first of all, I would have been more suspicious of Trishelle at this point than of Peppermint, because Trishelle was the one going around. If I die, she's a traitor, and it was based off of what she wears. Like it was ridiculous. And I personally think she was just jealous because Peppermint dressed better than her, and so that's, I
But she had
really
to be
just
dressed. But she had to be jealous of a lot of people because they all dressing better than her.
personally, absolutely, that is a fact. So we do see that um Dan and Phaedra get to go to Trader's Tower, and not only do they get to choose somebody to murder, but they also get to choose their third traitor. So they do decide it's either Janelle, Parvati, and I think they said somebody else,
Sandra.
Sandra.
Hmm.
Um,
They even talked
and
about John. They
I
did.
think,
I
I
don't think
think,
that was serious, but
yeah, I was
they
gonna say,
brought him up.
oh, Larsa, because they
Yeah.
wanted to split her and Michael up.
Marcus.
Mhm.
Marcus, sorry. Uh, but we do see that we will find out next episode who they will murder and who they will choose. So episode 2, um, we do see that they do choose Parvati, which, like I said, good choice. And then they decide on who to murder. So it came down to Kevin and Bananas and one other person that I can't remember.
Me neither.
Yeah. And so yeah, they really were trying to figure out, oh, maybe it was John.
Beyonce. Oh, I thought. Oh.
Oh, Deontay, you're right. Yep. They were trying to figure out who to murder. And listen, when it came back that it was Bananas, I was like, holy, they killed
I was not surprised actually. Not in the least bit.
And here
Banana. I
goes
was
Phaedra.
I would have told you.
He's such a handsome young thing. I didn't mind him being in the game, but Dan wanted him out, so I just went along with it, honey. I just went along with it. Like Phaedra. Phaedra. Are you gonna fight for anybody? You just gonna let Dan do everything.
Yeah, I was not surprised. I'm not mad about it. I think that, I mean, I've listened to what Dan said about why he chose him, but I just think that Johnny, if nothing else, he can
Mhm.
rally people.
Yes.
He can get the people to think what he thinks. And anybody like that can do it better than me, I'm going to try my damnedest to
To
get
get him
you
out.
murdered or banished or something. You know, I
Yeah.
would let Johnny go quickly because
Yeah.
before you know it, he has an army against you. He's just very charismatic.
Okay.
And
I
I
mean,
like the way it set
fair.
the tone. It set the tone. Like,
It did. That's
you
why
know what
I was screaming. I was like, not the,
I
not the losing banana.
mean?
Okay. And so we do see that Parvati had gotten her letter. She found out she was going to be a traitor, but she knew nothing, and so she was just sitting there like, "Wow, I didn't have nothing to do with it."
It's so interesting because she did not want to be a traitor.
Hmm?
What'd
She
you
did
say?
not want to be a traitor.
Oh, she didn't want to be a
Oh.
She
traitor.
did not.
I do think I think it was better for her the way she became a traitor.
Yeah.
Because it gave her time to be a faithful.
Right.
For a second.
I do
One
think
day.
if she was an
One day.
initial trader, like
Yeah.
first of all, I think it would have pu- flew a little sensors off for Sandra. Like I think it just would have I think it would have done too much damage in the front end, but I think
Mhm.
she was able to like use
Mhm.
that day as a faithful to kind of worm her way in with everybody else.
I hope so. But yeah, I'm hoping that she just turns it on because there's a video out there of her speaking about, like, they asked her where if she wanted to be a faithful or a traitor. It is so obvious they edited where she said she would like to be a faithful and made it a traitor. I'll have to send it to you, Miss T Joy. But
Okay.
she ain't about that life. She ain't trying to lie and get close to people. I'm like, well, that's why she said, well, I guess I'm going to the dark side because it's not the choice that she wanted. So I'm hoping that we see full Black Widow's brigade willing to do what she got to do to whomever. I guess time will tell if she's able to tap into that.
Yeah,
If she ain't want to.
that's crazy. Um, so we do see then Trishelle brings up her thing at breakfast about Peppermint. I said, "Oh well, if I get murdered, then she's a traitor." And what did Peppermint say? Well, the bitch is sitting at
Right. You at the breakfast table.
which is why I kept saying I'm not sure why this points to Peppermint. I understand Peppermint had a couple of word missteps,
Oh yeah.
but my whole thing is y'all are interrogating her over somebody who's insisting that if she died, it was Peppermint, but Peppermint is still here, and so is she. So I don't understand. And it was over fashion. I don't understand.
But
I
she left
don't
that.
get it.
But she left that part out. See, when she told the story, she kept leaving that part out because the guys would have tuned out immediately. But
Right.
if she would have told the whole thing, they would have been like,
Really?
"What over outfits?"
Over
No,
now?
that's not how she was telling it. You know.
No, she wasn't.
And you
She
know,
was
she's always the
focused
victim.
on
She's
she
always
was
the victim.
focused on Peppermint's reaction to what she said. I said I was just joking, and I said if I die, she's a traitor. I was just joking. She was focusing on that one part of the story and making them or trying to make them think because of Peppermint's reaction to what she said, she has to be untrustworthy or a traitor. She's focused on that one little every chance she got, she talked about that story.
Very, very, very annoying.
That's the show for you.
So we do see that then because of her missteps, people are starting to point at Peppermint. And so it's kind of like it went into the challenge. So this challenge was called Lumberjack. The teams are split into 3 different teams, which I like. The one thing about like Australia, they all wear these track suits that I like literally hate these damn
Oh, I
Adidas.
haven't watched Australia. I've watched Canada, UK, and the US. I have not watched Australia.
So they wear these tracksuits. I do like that America brings that like they get to wear their own like little flair of whatever. And so they wore flannel shirts in red, blue, and yellow. And Alan is basically sitting there with like a crown of straw. It's very, very funny. Kicking it with Kay said the Peppermint thing was a whole mess. I agree.
Yes, it was.
And Kicking it asked why wasn't she asked Janelle why she wasn't surprised.
About what?
Wasn't surprised about what?
I don't know.
About what? Explain what you mean. I'm not sure.
So throw that in the comment. What do you mean by why wasn't she surprised? So the teams must make their way through a field where $20,000 is hidden, but they have to answer a series of questions about their castmates, and then picking up scarecrows along the way with the names of the person they've chosen as their answer. The scarecrows have keys around in it, and they have to open up boxes. And so they do go through this, and it's like question 1 was I forget. Oh crap. Was it who was the strongest player?
We thought there was a choice between who was more trustworthy or who would you believe more between Larsa and Marcus. That was one of the earlier questions.
Yeah,
that was the first
that's what I was trying to figure out how they phrased it. I know the
Yes.
choices were Marcus and Larsa, but it was like I couldn't figure out. It was like who was the strongest player or who was the most like trustworthy.
Most trustworthy.
Yeah,
And they picked Marcus. Right?
It's whose opinion the group values the most.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. And they picked Marcus.
And they picked Marcus. It was between Marcus and Larsa. And then the next question was, who is more popular, Deontay or Peppermint? And everybody, even except Peppermint's group, kept saying it was Deontay.
Mm-hmm.
And Peppermint's group had it right at first, but then decided to like throw it away, even though she was saying, "Guys, I think it is me."
Me. Yeah. Yeah. She was like, I think it's me. And they were like, no.
No,
No. And
and then
I'm thinking, you all filled the survey out. Okay. But okay.
and
Right.
and Peppermint was so pissed off because they just threw the scarecrow, the Peppermint scarecrow, on the can. But when they get to the box, Deontay's key doesn't fit, and they, I think, all two of the teams or
Have to go back.
had to go
Yeah.
back. I
Two of
think
them have
one
to go
team
back.
did get it. I think it might have been the yellow team. And then the last question is, who needs to speak up more, Dan or Sheree? And the answer is Dan. And I'm like, who asked these questions?
They were
Are y'all trying to make paths to the traders? Like, what was these questions?
I thought they were very telling, and I think that people took them seriously and based some opinions and decisions off of these questions. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, damn, this was super early for this, I thought too.
Yeah,
Especially
that's what I
talking about
mean.
people being quiet, like in the
Because
second
I
minute.
know.
we
Usually it
see
comes like three or four, like 4 or 5 episodes in or something when you kind of gotten to know people a little bit. It's like we don't have one round table. I don't even know.
we've
Well, he
seen
ain't
that
talk. Put him
one
down.
challenge on the like little wheel, or they
Right.
like on the hatch thing, and I think in Australia they did it with like water and electric seats where you had to choose people's names of like what they, what you think about them. Here they like first answer. Are you
Mm-hmm.
kidding
Mm-hmm.
I would have been so bitter if I was any of them, you know? Like, why me?
me? And so they do end up getting like 16 out of 20 bars, which is not bad. And once they go through to, Dan actually gets a shield, telling people he feels unsafe, which I thought was a good strategy.
Yeah, he needed
That
it.
was.
Because I
Especially
think
since
that
people
after
are
this,
saying you're
people
not talking
focused.
a lot. That's a good way to
Right.
try to hide it, you
And
know.
after this, people focused on he don't say much. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it's like they lasered in on it after this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we do see that at this point, the everybody's going after Peppermint. It was to me, it was just like the most weirdest conversations. But again, we know with the first banishment, it's always they're going to find any and everything to make a reasoning up to get you.
Right.
So they're using this Trishelle thing and they're interrogating Peppermint, and she does make some misstatements, and so
I think that, like, yes, when once she's had the misstatements, I was like, oh, it's done. Like, it's over. That's how I felt. But I think just the fact that they were coming at her, like question, like calling it out a couple of times, just made her nervous, and she slipped up. Like
Mhm.
that's what I felt about. I was like, dang, she was so nervous. They just made her
she
nervous
was.
coming at her like that.
It it
I don't
wa-
think it would happen
it
like
was
that.
nerve-wracking to watch, to be honest, because it's like you're being accused you're being accused for something that somebody just like made up in their head. It's not even like an observation. It was just something that somebody made up in their head. That's like me saying Miss T Joy, um, she's wearing a fascinator, and so like and dressed in black, and so
Mhm.
like if I die tonight in the castle, like she's the one that killed me. Okay,
Right. Right. Because
and
she was dressed for a funeral as though she was going to kill somebody.
right, right.
Right.
That's it. That's all it was, and it was just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It was sad, and R.I.P. Peppermint. She does get voted out here, even though like some people did vote for John and Trishelle. But most of the votes did fall Peppermint's way, and she came to the circle of truth, said she was faithful, and so good for her because they all look stupid, and I
Right.
don't understand why this didn't spotlight Trishelle more. But I guess because Trishelle didn't really even be vocal about everybody else did because they just took what she said and ran.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we do see that Marcus kind of like lays into Dan and said, "Oh, you didn't say anything at the round table. Who did you think it was?" And he's just like, "I'm just trying to like figure it out. I'd rather like keep to myself and figure it out." And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Ooh, that's not the answer anybody wants to hear." And so, it does get back to Parvati too, that like Dan's on some of these people's radar. Um, and I think Parvati finally gets to go here up to Trader's Tower and meet her two traders, and she had no clue.
No idea.
Dan was like coming to her a few times throughout the night, and they like, "Oh, we good? Did you hear anything? Blah 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 blah." And so when it was so funny that when they got to Trader Shower, she like not tipped off at all about Dan and Phaedra. So they
Yeah.
are playing a very good game because I would think Parvati would suspect something. So episode 3, we do see that they get to do their first murder together. And this was a big one. This was a big one. Um, they decide between Deontay, Marcus, because after the first challenge, the second challenge, him having so much of an influence on everybody just really kind of stood out, and it's like you don't want somebody who has that much of an influence in the game, which is
Right.
fair. I think they also thought about killing Larsa, and there was one other person, but again I keep forgetting who.
I
um
thought it was a good choice.
huh
I mean, I thought it was a good choice.
I
I
thought it was
like,
an absolute good choice.
yeah, I
Me too.
like what Marcus was saying. He obviously had influence. If everybody answered that question within the first 1 or 2 days, they answered that
Mm-hmm.
question about him like that. I was a little bit surprised, but I don't knock it. I liked it. I thought it was a good choice for them because he would have been on to them, and I think he would have gotten people to be, especially with Larsa on his shoulder, because
And
she's
that's what they
loud.
said. They needed to break up him and,
The
and
month. Yep.
Yes,
Larsa.
yes. And I feel
I
like
was
he
happy
would
about it.
be less likely to get banished than her.
Yeah.
Like people would be more likely to banish her than him. So if they wanted him gone, they probably felt that they needed to do it themselves.
Like it was very clear he was a faithful, and
Mm-hmm.
it was very clear that he needed to go because he was so clearly
Right.
faithful. And so we do see uh that once it kind of comes down to him and one other person before him, Larson knows it's going to be him and that he was murdered, and literally kind of freaks out.
Like it really happened. Oh my God, Marcus!
Yeah.
Why would
When
you
he's
do that
probably
with the
just back at the
bodyguard?
hotel with everybody else. Like,
Hello.
yeah,
Like the toast was like, oh, I think a little overkill, guys. It was
yeah.
a little overkill. And so we do see that they like Larsa is out for blood. She's like, we have to get a traitor tonight. And I'm just like, okay, how are you gonna do that?
Don't forget she has to cheers. Everybody has to
No, that's
cheers
what I
her
said. The
her
toast was a
boo.
little overboard.
That's a key
She wanted
factor
him to have
later
his
on.
moment. That's all. She just wanted him to have his moment.
Uh-huh.
um I again, Larsa is okay, but she's just like a little annoying. I'm sorry. Meanwhile, didn't she say she would murder him?
Yes, Yes. Later, she like bucked against that. I wouldn't kill my boyfriend. That's not what you said on day one, honey.
That's not what you said on day one. Like,
Right.
like you said, you both came to play this game alone.
Individually, yes. She
Yep.
didn't mean it. She was just putting on a face.
Yeah, exactly. Because they are very codependent, my lord.
It's an interesting. I don't get it, but it's none of my business. I don't care.
It was very, very weird. Anyway, and so we do see that they start thinking back on conversations that Marcus is having, and this kind of puts a spotlight on Dan. And they feel like Dan might be the traitor, and not wrong. Not wrong at all. Also, Max was kind of observing everybody, and he was kind of just being very weird about his observations.
See, I was pleasantly surprised about Max. Liked what he did, like some of the things that he said, the conversations he had, even like with Peppermint. He was like, "Y'all, I think this is a mob mentality. Everybody's
Right.
giving up, like
He
based
was.
on what evidence?" Like he was not going for it. He was not willing to join the group and just go against her because he thought that Trichelle's reasoning was stupid, and he
Which
Right.
was.
was.
Hello.
It was.
It
So
was.
he said as much. So when I saw Max doing all of those things, I liked it. I was like, I like him. I didn't know.
Me
I
too.
had zero idea what to expect from him in a game like this. I see him on Dancing with the Stars, but that's about it. So I really liked Max, and I wanted him to stick around for a
Me
while because
too.
I thought he was not going to be the one to just go with the crowd, and he was willing to be vocal about it.
I
Right.
met Max and Val in person. Sweet men. They have a studio. They had a studio here. Um, uh, that they opened in New Jersey, and they did a lot of like dance work. I don't know if the studio is still open since COVID, but yeah, I mean, I think Max is being very genuine here, that he wanted it to be the right answer. He didn't really think that it was Peppermint. He was right, right? So,
Yeah.
Kicking it with Kay says those tracksuits are Adidas, though. Yes, they are Adidas, but it's like, there's no variety. They're just different colors. And they're
Yeah.
also saying that's when you was talking about bananas. That was earlier.
Why I'm not
Oh, why
surprised?
you're not
Oh,
surprised?
Oh, that
because
Janelle wasn't surprised that he was killed.
I was
Okay.
not surprised in the least bit. Johnny's been on a million shows. He's been on reality TV for what, 20 plus years now?
20
On
years. Yes.
20 years. People
Yes.
know him. People know what he's capable of. Dan is aware of who he is.
Yep.
Why would you want to go against Bananas, who could potentially rally allies against him and take him out? I don't know. I think Johnny's good at these games. He's done them for this long for a reason. He gets cast on this show for a reason. And I would also want Johnny gone. I don't want to face him. Bye. If I can
would
take
want
out a
him
big
gone too,
competitor,
especially not
sayonara.
pairing TT together. I would be like, no,
Yes,
and I'm not dealing with both of them together. No.
right. Yes, out of those three options, goodbye Bananas. He's
Right.
Okay, fair. Um, uh, so next we do find out that their mission is taking place in the middle of the night in a cemetery. And I was like, oh, is it going to be the burial one? No, it was actually a pretty good mission. It was.
Yeah.
They went middle of the night into a graveyard, and they had to find bags of money, gold, whatever, and they had to do this without being hit by one of the spotlights that were revolving around the graveyard. So this is where I said, "Oh, look at Bergie. Bergie
Yep.
is actually playing the game and smart. I love it." Because
Yeah.
nobody else is being smart. Everybody
Yeah.
else is like it. I think they had like 6 people go out at, like that, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
he was really integral in that challenge for them and not getting hit by the lights and having a strategy. That was his moment.
Yes.
He
It was.
good.
And fair. I feel like that also gave him the ability to like keep himself in the game, because not only does he have the potential to help them make money, but also he's not a strong guy to, you know, have to worry about towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so they do this challenge, and they, with Murphy's help, they end up making $19,000.
Hmm.
And 3 or 4 people got shields: Tamara, CT, Janelle, and
And that was the whole thing. And that
well,
was the whole
Oh, with
thing
Ekin Sue.
too.
To me,
Yes.
what Janelle was saying was right. I don't
It
think she
was
snatched it
right.
from her. Ekin Sue was lying. I'm like, no, Ekin Sue, this is video. Damn.
she was lying. She
Yeah.
never touched the shield ever.
Never.
And Janelle literally had both hands on the actual box in the shield and got
Thank you.
there first with Pilot Pete.
Yeah.
Right.
But to me, if she touched it, even if she just touched it first, like it's hers. You
Right.
can't just
Right.
snatch it. I was like, she's pushed me. I was like, oh, come on.
The funny part is though that she does still end up being murdered in this situation. So she kind of needed the damn shield.
Yeah,
But
she did.
She needed that shield.
She
but
did.
she didn't have it first. Janelle did. So
Yeah.
I did find that funny because they had her ITM like, I need to find a shield, and then she goes and she tries to take the shield from Janelle, and then I realized in the next episode, oh damn, well, she kind of needed the shield. Oh my god! So we could go into a round table, and at this point, again, they just was like, it's either Max or Dan.
There were so many names though. Oh my
They,
goodness.
right. Well, Pete,
They
Pete
were
and
all over the place.
Kevin decided to target each other to throw off suspicion. Good strategy because
Right.
it makes them look stupid. Um, and we did see that with Larsa. She's like, "Oh, he's dumb," and it's like, I think Kevin's very smart. To be fair.
Yeah, yeah, and so he wanted to act dumb, like the dumb one who eats up everything. Remember, he was
Mhm.
like, he keep eating. I was like, he might be stress eating. I stress eat sometimes. I'm like, he might be stress eating because they say he's like, I ate all the hors d'oeuvres and then dinner. He was like, I was eating everything.
And apparently Tamara doesn't like the way he smacks when he eats.
Yes,
She was so bothered by that.
Yeah.
so
Like, don't
about
smack
Um,
my kid up beside his head.
so MJ and Larsa both agree. And so this is my whole thing. I do agree that MJ and Larsa, one of them needed to go because it's like she replaced Marcus with MJ, and that like they were riding together regardless. Like either one of them convinced each other the other thing or whatever. And when you have a voting block like that, like a pair, you kind of break that up. That's the most ridiculous thing, because here we see that they do kind of like spotlight Dan, but we do see that Sandra, Deontay, and a few others spotlight Max and say
Mhm.
that they think it was Max, based on how he was at breakfast, where he was just like the way he was observing things, um, him walking in on conversations and the way he was acting. And so they do point the spotlight to Max, and then Max does kind of point the spotlight back at Janelle and Ekansu because of this argument they had over the shield. And so then that just makes Janelle and Ekansu kind of like, well, Max, why are you so
Right. So they kind of
Immediately vote
unite
for
on
him.
this, like, it wasn't even that big of a deal. Now Atkins was talking about it was not a big a deal. It wasn't even that big of a deal. Like, you trying to make it more than what it
Then
was.
why are you talking about it, Ekin Sue? Why are
Right.
you bringing it up and making it an issue?
It's like the peppermint thing all over again. And so we do see that Parvati gets a little bit of a heads up that Dan was gonna be a target tonight. But she said it's too early. It is. It's just too early to be turning on each other right now. You need each other right now. And so she does give him a bit of a heads up to be prepared. And I love that, unlike with, I mean, even though it didn't matter in his case, but I do feel like some of these people are a lot smarter than Canada season. Unlike in Canada, when they found out that a certain person was the traitor. That like people started targeting a certain person as a traitor, and Mike tried to give her the alley oop. Oh, Melissa, when he tried to give her the alley oop and start the conversation and control the narrative and kind of put the spotlight on him. They allowed things to go as they were, and Dan was able to like give his little spiel and reassure everybody like we seen Dan do. Dan is very good at like playing the meek and mild behind the
Yeah.
scenes. Like,
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. Like that is that what I've been doing with you? And I will definitely do better the next time.
Yeah. 'Cause it's, it's
somebody
really
even
just my
said,
personality.
I don't want to banish people for their natural personality. He had people sticking up for him after that little spill. Like,
Mhm.
this is just who he is. He's just quiet. We don't banish people just because they're a little quiet. Like, it was good. He got out of that, like, pretty unscathed, I felt like. 'Cause I don't think people are necessarily talking about him as hard
No,
following
not
the
at
last
all.
episode.
So really it's just MJ and Larsa was just like going at him because basically he didn't do what everybody else did, which was fall at their feet and tell them how so sorry that he is about them losing Marcus like he's dead when he wasn't dead. He just was out of the game and has no
Right.
chance at the money. It'll be okay, guys. It'll be okay.
Right.
And so we do see Deontay is focused on Max, and Parvati mentions that she thinks that it could be this person or that person, and so she's just like, it's too early to turn on Dan, but I'm also not gonna vote for Max, so she votes for Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
And Phaedra voted for MJ.
Max. Oh, did she?
No, Ekisu. Sorry, Ekisu. She voted for
Right.
Ekisu because of the argument between Janelle and Ekisu.
Yeah.
Right.
And Dan voted for Max. So always a good strategy, not voting for the same
Same
person unless it's
person.
like a majority.
Right.
I thought that was also good gameplay. So we do see that Max does go out here.
Hate
Uh,
it.
huh?
I
You
hate
hated it?
it. I really like. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the fact that he was just willing to go against the grain. He
Yeah,
wasn't.
Yeah.
he had good
He
instinct.
did.
He
He
had
did.
good,
I
Yeah.
was like,
I
oh
agree.
my. I just wanted to see what he had. Do you know what I mean? Because I
yeah.
was
Right.
pleasantly surprised about what he was doing in the game. So I didn't like that. I wish it would have been anybody, not anybody, but a lot of other people.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
he
like people
definitely
who
had
go
good.
against the grain. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And so they did snipe Max and find out he was a faithful, and Deontay has a total breakdown.
Total.
I was
Total
like, it's
meltdown.
episode 2.
Huh?
I mean,
I
it's
was like, it's 3. I was like, it's episode 3. And people
I know.
over, who they're banishing. I was very surprised. I don't very.
I think kicking it with Kay is saying that's what they love about Max as well, that
Yeah.
not going with the crowd. So
Yeah.
a definite loss for the faithfuls, but at this point they're just allowing it to happen. So we find out they do pull the traitors and tell them that they have to murder in plain sight. It is golden chalice time. So I have seen something similar. I think it was Australia
UK. No, UK.
or UK,
Yeah.
where they did something similar. Had to murder in plain sight with a poison chalice, and this was hard.
Hmm.
This was hard.
But again, see, this is what I'm talking about with Dan.
Mhm.
Again, his whole thing is I have Parvati, and this is why I have her because I can mold her and I can get her to do. He's making her do the dirty work. Phaedra not even involved in who they pick, right? Phaedra like, y'all figure it out. Whatever y'all say, that I'm cool with it. She goes about doing what she's doing because she is so paranoid about not coming off. She don't want to be seen talking to them and doing whatever. And then Dan is like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it in case somebody remember or see. I don't
Right.
want the cup in my hand.
Right.
So of course he's molding Parvati and he's getting her to do everything. And this is why he picked her
Yeah.
because he knew that he could get her to do his dirty work.
Well, two
Oh.
things. A guy going around offering drinks to a lady, and there's more women than men. It would have looked a little more standoutish.
Mm-hmm.
But also it does make it hard. The reason why they picked Parvati is because she was outside of their wheelhouse, right? Like their crews, right? Dan's the gamer on one
Big
side,
brother.
she's a survivor gamer on the other side, and Phaedra is a housewife. But that also is the reason why it made it harder to meet, to make that decision as a core, rather than doing it the way that it's okay if Parvati is talking to Dan because they are gamers and we're being picked off by the Bravo celebrities, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it is easier for them to meet, which is why I said, in some respects, she's a good shield for Phaedra, because if you got to throw a girl under the bus, if they're looking for a girl, you have one right there. But in other respects, she's a good shield for Dan because he can work a lot closer to her.
See, and I think that this is episode. We're at the end of episode 3 where she's trying to get somebody to drink that drink. Never mind, we'll get there. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she tries. So they come up with 3 names. Um, they come up with MJ. They come up with which Dan is like, I don't know, because you throw my name out there. Do I really want that heat on me?
Right.
They were saying John because he basically is not doing anything, and they
Right.
were saying Sheree. So
Right.
we do see that John and Sheree are in the
Parlor room.
parlor
That parlor room.
parlor room with the bar, and they kind like, it looked like they Parvati kind of decided, because Dan was like, listen, Sheree can't stop us. I mean, Phaedra can't stop us because we making the choice here. She kind of goes, instead of going for John, she goes for Sheree. And I think that was partially the error here. I think she should have went for John being in that room, because basically you could see Sheree put Phaedra put the hammer down, like, oh no,
Not on my watch.
Yeah.
Not
in front
on
of me,
my watch, like a Yanla. Not on my watch. You won't kill Sheree on my watch.
not in front of me. Like, who do you think you're playing with?
Right.
And because I think she even like was able to like give John a drink. She just didn't give him the chalice, and I think that if she had done that, they would have gotten rid of John. But she decides that too much heat in that area, she needs to move to another area and try again. So she does go to the kitchen with Dan is, MJ is, Janelle, Trishelle, and Pilot Pete and
Yeah.
Ekansu are all. She is thinking of doing it to MJ, which Dan does ITM. He's fine with, because she's putting too much heat on him. But she realizes, which I think wisely, that MJ was never going, like, she would have to force her to drink
Yeah, she not
from the
drinking out that dirty thing. What is this? What are you,
right.
I was like, what is this?
There's just no trust there. Like,
Right.
you would have to do it to somebody who has like just a modicum of trust with you,
Yeah.
and
Right.
that wasn't happening with an MJ.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And you got to get somebody that's willing to drink after you, because
Yeah.
where did this come from? What are you talking about?
Why are you giving me this random cup that doesn't look like
Right.
any other cup? And yeah, I agree that it has to be. I don't know if it should have been Ekansu, but I think that she just was like, I gotta get somebody because the clock
Right.
and we're gonna be we're not gonna kill nobody. So I think Ekansu was not the intended target, but just because nobody else, she couldn't get some of the other people to do it, you know?
Yeah, she caught it stray, but I'm not crying, since Ekansu said she wanted Donald Trump to play this game, and
All
so
that. I was like, oh yeah, she can die. Bye.
Right.
and so we do see that she sees that she had no choice. She had to give it to somebody, and that person ends up being
Atkinson.
Ekansu, who trusted her.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate. It does play off right though.
Yes.
It does end up because I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the worst thing ever. This is gonna be so screwed up. And it ends up really working in their favor.
Yes,
So
it does.
we
I mean, great TV.
great
Great TV. I
TV.
mean, it ended up being the best thing. But at the time, I was like, who did she give it to? What is going on? Oh my goodness. Why she do that? But
I was
Oh yeah,
thinking
so
about
you
it
guys
this
had to wait a week to find out.
Yeah.
yes, we had to wait a week. I
was
was like,
so
that's
mad.
the worst cliffhanger.
So because I was traveling, I watched like all 4 episodes in the last 2 days.
Oh, so you didn't have to wait.
I didn't have to wait. So kicking it with Gary says one thing I liked about Deontay though was as a black man he showed men can cry because we are most looked at as got to be tough, can't cry, and all that. Oh yeah, I liked Deontay. I do feel like him showing regret and emotional regret for both Peppermint and Max because he did
Yeah.
say Max had been him and Max had been building this friendship, but he had to start side-eyeing him. I do feel like he was able to really show that he's supposed to be. He's in a sport that is like
Macho,
really
macho.
physical and macho. He is a boxer. And so I do love that. I do love when we get to see black men have lots of facets. So Deontay was different from Marcus, who like just two really great dynamics and personality. Marcus was really smart. He was really a go-getter, a leader out front. But he had to go. That's the problem. Is like when you are that way, you have to go in this game. And then on the flip side, when we get to this episode, Deontay disappears.
Yeah, he quit.
They say that well, this is the rumor. Nobody knows because they haven't heard from Matt directly, but they said that he said it was bringing up some childhood trauma, and
I
he
can
couldn't,
understand
like
that.
the lying, and the backstabbing and the secrecy. It was just bringing up childhood trauma, and it wasn't a healthy environment for him. And so
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear all that. I saw there was supposed to be an interview or something. That makes more sense because I had to look at myself because this is what I was thinking, right or wrong, but it did make me look at myself. I was like, these games are not easy. Everybody can think lying and manipulating is easy until you're in that situation. It's easy to sit out here and say, do this, betray this person, lie this, tell this lie, do that. But I was shocked because I'm like, you punch people in the face for a living. Like you're actually physically hurting somebody. This is just a pretend game. You're not hurting anybody. You're not killing anybody. You're just voting them out of the game. It's not real life. So hearing about his potential childhood trauma makes a lot more sense to me and you can't make any assumptions. That's something I need to look at. But I was just surprised because I was like, this is fun compared to hitting someone. This is not.
I know. I thought the same thing. I heard on Rob has a podcast.
Right.
Like people that do physical, like wrestling and fencing, like things that you could get hurt. Because I watch a lot of Olympic sports, things where you can physically get harmed or hurt. They don't view it as, oh, this is something that there's no emotion in it. If you see what I'm saying, right?
Right,
them,
and that's why I was surprised.
To them, it's a profession, right? It's as much of a profession as me being an accountant, right? Where there's numbers on it. Like they don't see it that way. Whereas this, they're building friendship, because a lot of times those people, if you notice when they box and all that stuff, there's rivalries for a reason. They have to not be friends. They have to have that pent up animosity against each other to get to that point where it's like, okay, it's okay for me to punch out this guy now because we are not
for 6 months. They've been building it up for 6 months.
Yes,
they've been training for the fight. They've been building up all these reasons not to like him. His camp did this and that. They're watching the tape. They're building and winding themselves up. And therefore, this though is I was building a friendship, and now I have insulted this man's integrity. I
Yes.
have called him a traitor, a liar, and he was not lying. And now I got to check myself. I'm not a good judge of character. I'm
Yeah.
not this. I'm not that. I think he was seeing it that way
That
instead of
way.
seeing
Yeah.
it as a
Yeah,
game.
could it? I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. It's just when I was watching it,
Right.
I'm like,
I get what you're saying.
yeah, you're not hurting anybody. You're just playing a game that you signed up to play. You didn't do anything wrong. You got it
Right.
wrong. And
Right.
I honestly, oh, I hate when I see around social media people calling people in this game stupid. I hate that so much because
Oh,
Right.
it's just a guessing game. Honestly, truly, there are
Yeah.
no true tells of anything that the traders do. You have to just look at the situation and try to snip something out of nothing.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hate that he felt that way because I'm like, dude, you didn't do nothing wrong. You're just playing a game that
Exactly.
everybody's, But I'm just happy that ultimately he did whatever he feels is best for him. That's all that
Yeah.
really matters to me.
And it's easy to call somebody stupid when we already know who the traders are. It's really not fair.
No,
It's like,
no,
we know who the traders are. So
exactly.
it's easier for us to be like, why can't they tell, or why can't they figure it out? I mean, we already know. We have the cheat sheet. We already know it's really
Right.
not
We see
fair.
absolutely everything. And they're in a room with most of strangers and just trying to pick somebody out. Like they're not stupid. They're just doing the best they can.
Right. So I totally understand that. I just felt bad, and I mean, this is what we said at the top of the show. There's gonna be people here who took this so seriously that
Mm-hmm.
it's not a game. They are going to be upset. They are going to take this hard. They're going to feel played, whatever it is.
They will.
and, and at the end of the day, this is a game. You signed up for a game where
Yep.
there are traders and faithfuls, and either you're one or the other to win money. And it shouldn't be personal, but it will get personal because some people can't take personal out of it.
Yeah, and I
Hmm.
was watching, I just not to I'm sorry to digress. I was watching an interview with Three.
Mhm.
She was on Bananas podcast.
Oh
And she
yeah.
it was good. Did you see it, Miss T Joy?
I didn't see all of it, but it was good. The little bit that I saw.
Yeah, she talked about Tamika that for towards the end of her season,
Mhm.
she's like, I was beside myself. She was like, I was sick that I
Yeah.
was about to go up there and have to stand in front of all these people that I made friends with and
Yeah.
say I was a traitor. She said she was also sick about like taking the money for herself. She's like, but what they did was they gave me too much time because I started thinking, why the heck am I sharing? I'm sharing it. Ari was here for one murder.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
not sharing it.
that's why I can absolutely see that for her thinking, because she came down to the end with her two closest people, right?
Yeah.
That they trusted her no matter what. And
Yeah.
so you've just manipulated these people from the start of the game to the end of the game, and Ari just got in with these people
Thank you.
Yes.
based
Thank you.
of your strength, because that was what they agreed to. She would help him ingratiate himself in her little crew to get to the end. But then
Mm-hmm.
you think about it, and it's like I had to get rid of Cody. I had to get
Hello.
rid of Christian. I had
Yep.
to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of all these other people, murder, banishments, all this stuff. This guy was a faithful the entire time, coming
Entire.
after me,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to split the money evenly with him. No, I did all the work.
That's what she said. And she said she also had, but she was terrified to do it. But she said she also had to think about it like, I met these people 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Right.
Like, this is money that I'm taking home from my family. While it is challenging to turn on these friendships, I care about those people at home. I'm not going to take money away from,
Hmm.
I'm not going to give this for my mom, this for my son, this for my grandma, because I'm going to give some to Ari. I'm not doing it. I respect it. I just think that it's
True.
just not always so simple or so easy to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do. So we do see people. I do like the perspective of Suri and Taylor or Hale, where they do try to get people to see this is a game, right? This is a game
Right.
for money, and most of the games that we're playing are manipulative, lying, cheating, backstabbing, whatever kind of games to get to an end where there's a monetary reward. So as long as you're sticking to game and it's not nasty
Personally
or
ugly. Yeah.
personally ugly, I'm going to be like, the game is the game. It's
Right.
the player, not the game, right? Like you could,
Yeah.
so it's like if the player was nasty and dirty to me, then I'm not going to accept that. But if they won based on the rules of the game, what can I do?
Right.
This is why I will not. This is why Janelle would fail. I mean, I don't think I would fail if I just met the people, hopefully. But if I had pre-established relationships, like I'm going back, that got to be even harder. You know what I mean? Because now
Yeah.
you know these people, and you have established relationships for years. Sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
So
think I'd be good.
let's finish out this episode. So we see that the first two to arrive at breakfast is the two who have no clue what's going on. Because
Yes.
apparently Parvati was like, I don't even think Dan saw who I gave the damn chalice to.
Yeah.
Dan was sitting right there. But can I say something before we go? I love that this episode was called The Funeral, right?
Mhm.
This is the episode. It's called The Funeral. And the first two people to come to breakfast are the people that are known for funerals. Dan, his whole thing on Big Brother was Dan's funeral. In order for him to get out of the doghouse, not get voted out, eventually ends up winning the show. And then if you watched Housewives and you got to know Phaedra, you know that she became a funeral directress, and she was into funerals. And even this episode, I mean, this season on Married to Medicine, when she was trying to bring Quad back, she had to pop out a coffin and say she was resurrected and to come back to the group. So that is how she does everything with a funeral. She loves a good funeral child. I mean, you know, people shouldn't, but she likes, you know, that's her whole thing with the funeral. So I thought it was very becoming that the episode was called The Funeral and all of this takes place, and they're the very first two people in the breakfast table and looking crazy like, who did she kill? I don't know. I don't know who she killed. And Dan was sitting right there talking about, I ain't never seen her give it to no.
And that when he said that, I was like, she could, because a lot. Trust me, people be in my inbox like, oh, when she was a traitor, people were in my inbox. When all this happened, they're like, oh, I'm scared because of the UK version, and they got somebody caught up. They were explaining it all to me. But when Dan was like, who was like, who'd you kill? I was like, you didn't even see. I was like, she gonna be all right. These people, because I feel like to notice something like that, you kind of have to. Everybody's eating, everybody's drinking. It's gonna be hard to pinpoint when somebody gave you something, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, that moment, I was like, oh, it might be all right.
So Parvati does come in next, and she does say, okay, do you guys know what happened? And they're like, no, we have no clue what happened. And then she's like, I gave it to Ekinsu. They're like, Ekinsu. And so Phaedra starts freaking out because if
Lord Jesus, Ekinsu, not Ekinsu, Jesus.
And listen, I think that this was the start of Phaedra's heat towards Parvati because in love the Ekinsu choice because she thought that that was going to put spotlight on her. So I was like, this is the first little seed that she's going to have to be against her. So I was like, ooh, Parvati.
where we know that wasn't the case, it's just she was the only one that she could poison.
Yeah, really, it was. Right.
It really wasn't directed towards Phaedra, but like now I feel like Phaedra is absolutely gonna. Oh, she killed Ekinsu because she's trying to get me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was hilarious. So, so they all start filing into breakfast, and who shows up?
Ekinsu.
With bright red lipstick, and then
Right.
Phaedra like.
Now, Alan did say it was a slow acting poison.
Would you I would not have picked up on that. I'm thinking slow acting. She's dead by sunrise.
Right.
Not like I'm gonna see her tomorrow, and we gotta walk around and do a challenge with her, and she's gonna have a chance to talk to people and tell people that I gave her a drink. Oh, I would be so mad as a traitor.
So mad. But immediately when he said poison, did you see Ekinsu immediately was like she felt like she had gotten poisoned. That was what was so crazy to me. He had a physical reaction as soon as he said it, as though she felt like she really had been poisoned.
Yeah, this to me like when I was watching the whole thing from very start to the absolute end, I was like, this episode is so dramatic.
It was so
Yeah.
The
dramatic.
funeral dramatic, the host was dramatic, the people were dramatic, everything was like on a level 20. I'm like, oh my god.
When Ekin-Su said, I can feel the poison.
Right.
I'm like, well, Tamika, what did you think? Would you not be pissed at the traitor? Like walking in the next day, not like, because you said slow acting poison. I was telling Miss T Joy, I assumed by sunrise. Like, I'm not about to see her tomorrow and her have a chance to talk to people and say who she got her damn drink from.
Right.
I was like, oh, I'll be so hot.
I was like, I would have been like, wild.
Right.
I'm like, everybody's here. I think Parvati was like that. She was just like, interesting. Everybody's here.
She's
I'll
like,
be
in
so
her
mad.
essence, she's supposed to be dead.
Right?
Danger was gold in that moment.
I-
You could say either she's a ghost or second coming of Christ or something.
Even
Yeah,
somebody
that's
said
what
to
they.
me in like in crazy situations, for the most part, I am pretty even, right? Like, so I don't think I would have flipped, but it would have definitely been like, oh crap, where are we
On the
going?
inside,
Wow.
on the inside, I'd be like, you MFers. Because, like, if I had known, I would have touched that glass.
Yeah.
Was there anything established that would happen if she was unsuccessful? Did they just miss a chance to
No.
murder? Or
That's what I'm saying. No, because it's like,
Because-
so what is it? Phaedra was like, she's stupid or something, like she didn't know what she didn't poison. She didn't know who she poisoned or something.
Right.
yeah.
Oh my god!
See, I wonder what would have happened if she was unsuccessful because the whole next challenge was built off of this.
Somebody dying.
Yeah.
Maybe it was.
They
like,
would have waited to
oh,
ring
the
them
attempt?
bells. They would have waited to ring those bells.
Yeah, or it was an attempt at murder, but you didn't
Okay.
die. Maybe.
Yeah.
So, like it was just very funny. So there, she's like, either the poison didn't work or she's the second coming of Jesus. No.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. So we do see that Alan does then announce that somebody was poisoned in plain sight by the traitors, and that it would be revealed in their next challenge. And everybody's like, whoa. And so I want to know is how much time did they give them to change? Because these people went
Got
from,
the rest, honey.
went from
Right.
colorful and to beautifully drab
I
and all
love
of
their
that.
outfit.
All
Yeah,
black.
Right.
All black.
All black.
I
And-
think they was passing out fasteners because headbands with, I'm like, everybody just to the T. Like,
and they're all trying to speculate. Well, who drank something? They're like, we all drank something. We all drank something, except for Kevin, who's eating off all the food because he's so dumb. And so
Kevin was like, they could have got me because I was eating and drinking everything. They probably got me.
Ekin-Su was insistent. From she heard, she was insistent she was murdered. And then it's just like, not even based on anything.
I know. It was like she just instinctively knew she
Yeah.
had been poisoned.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was funny. And so they basically are in a funeral procession that they're going to go through, and the funeral is basically for Ekin-Su, but nobody knows. They have to do a challenge, and the challenge is to whittle down the identity of the actual murder victim, and they will win $20,000 if they do it. So there's a series of questions along the way. There's a carriage, there's a processional, and they just MJ not wanting to reveal her real age. Please, people, for real. Like,
She said her man don't know her age.
Yeah,
she said her doctor don't know.
Doctor don't know her age. The doctor don't know.
They're calling Parvati or Larsa old looking. I have such a love hate relationship with
It was
Sandra, but when
Sandra, right?
she was giving me life this episode going for, I'm like, get her, Sandra, get her, get her, get her, get her.
She was like, I had no idea we were the same age. Oh.
Sandra has
I like
aged
Sandra's
beautiful.
outfit too. I like Sandra's outfit.
It was
Yeah, and I like
pretty.
the
Her hair
long
up
lace
and
thing
yeah,
coming out the
yeah,
ponytail and
it
stuff.
was
Yeah,
cute.
it was
It was
cute.
very very cute. Um, I think Parvati was wearing another headband.
Headband. But she had her
Yeah,
little pearl. What do you call
with
that?
the lace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
With the lace.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like a
It's
little veil. Little veil.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Miss
It's
Joy.
a bird's nest.
There you go.
Bird's nest fail. And so do get down to the final three. After a few questions, and it's basically Ekansu, Parvati, uh, and MJ. And so everybody starts talking in the carriage, and they just know it's MJ. They just know it's MJ because she's too loudmouthed, and so they're like, "There's no way it's not MJ." And this is going to come back to hunt them because they've got to choose who they think, in order to win the money, is the person who got murdered. And so they put all three into coffins,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically say, "Hey, the which one do you guys think?
Think.
Throw roses at their coffin."
And it
So
was funny because before all this, like the whole day, they were
Mhm.
suspicious of Ekansu. They're like, it
Right.
gotta be Ekansu. It's Ekansu. We know it's Ekansu. So when she kept not like kept going on and on and on, and everybody gave the roses to MJ, they're like, what? Then they're like, it gotta be MJ. It was so funny. I was like, wait till they see that this woman is murdered.
They were like, Ekansu is too over dramatic. Why
Dramatic.
is she's overacting? She's just she's probably a traitor. She just overacting. Like, why is she doing all that?
I'm like, she just being herself, y'all just wrong. Like, I'm cracking up. 'Cause that's like,
So we do see 100% of roses went into MJ's thing because the traders didn't want to out themselves and for any of the money, and everybody knew it was going to be MJ, and it was Ekansu, and Alan just goes like slammed to her.
It scared me. Even though I knew it was coming, it still scared me. I was like,
she got scared. She jumped. That was crazy.
you're not closing me in here. Let me out of here. Like, if this is a TV show.
So we do see that the other two climb out of their coffins, and they all lay again, the dramatics. They all laid their black roses,
I could not.
black roses on the coffin of the murdered victim. And everybody starts questioning, how is it possible? There's no way. Why Ekansu? She's done nothing. She's been taking heat. We were going to vote for her tonight.
right.
And so then they start turning on MJ. They're like, it has to be MJ or somebody close to MJ. And MJ has no awareness of this, because her and Larsa go back and decide it's got to be a guy.
Absolutely. They're like, it gotta be a guy. I was like, Larsa, I was like, she has to go. She gathered her troop, marched them to the wall of people, and had a full open discussion, stupidly, about why she was targeting or believed it was who she thought it was. And those people were ready to march and vote with her. I'm like, they better get this woman because she is the most influential of the housewife people. And Janelle called out the clique. The housewives, she said, stick together. The reality TV people are sticking together. People who she believes are true faithfuls are sticking together. So I was also dying as soon as Sandra heard that. She was like, oh no, you're not getting my people. She ratted true Sandra fashion. One thing I can say about her and Parvati, when they truly are with somebody, like if they're locked in, they really are, and they'll do what they need to do to keep their people. That's how they play Survivor. If they ain't really with you, they'll get you out. But for the
Mm-hmm.
people that they're really with, they will rock with them. So I was happy to see her go snitch. So she ran straight to Dan, like, yo,
Yeah.
it's either
They
CT
coming for you.
or Larsa. So we got to get Larsa.
Um.
We have a
So.
question for Miss T.
Uh.
Oh yeah, Kay. He is a huge gamer fan. He did get cast on a reality show, but I think like it didn't get picked up or something. And now he's like in the second rounds of interviewing for another reality show.
Oh,
So
Oh, that's
nice. You have
cool.
to.
Good luck, Kay.
Yeah, you have to send us your socials and we'll follow you. Hopefully, you get onto something.
yeah.
So we do see that. We do see that. We do see that they're basically coming down to Dan and CT, and it's kind of coming down to a, uh, I would say, a clicky sort of thing. All the Bravo celebrities want CT, and all the gamers, I guess, want uh, Dan. No, sorry,
No, Housewife Larsa. The gamers want
Larsa.
Larsa.
The
Yeah, because
gamers want
Sandra was
Larsa.
like, they're trying to get you, Dan, or CT. We're gonna have to go for Larsa, and I feel like they
Yeah.
have the numbers to do so.
Yeah.
And the house, as much as the housewives could be a clique, they don't vote together. Sheree, how you say her name?
That burn
Right.
vote was ridiculous, Sheree. It was ridiculous.
I'm like, sure. Like, if two people had switched their votes, they would have saved Larsa. Like,
Yeah.
what are y'all doing? Like,
I
okay,
don't
go ahead,
I,
I'm sorry.
like Sheree's throwing off like this is spades. Like girl, girl.
I'm gonna let my partner win. Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Oh,
No, for
that's a
real.
good analogy, Tamika.
Like you're hedging bets. Like this is not a game.
And he
So
ain't gonna get
ridiculous.
mad after when Larsa voted out.
And
Y'all
they
need to
got
stop.
mad when Larsa got
Yeah,
voted
they
out.
want
See,
burn
I
the
told you the gamers are gaming. No, you didn't. You could have voted for somebody else.
Hmm. She's like, I didn't like that vote. Who called her out? They're like, then why'd you vote that way?
Right.
She was blaming everybody else, but like you
Thank
went in
you.
on
Take
it,
some
girl.
that's Sheree for you. Take some
Right?
accountability.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Miss TJ.
Yeah, so it was the weirdest. I was just like, are you like serious? Like seriously. But I agree, they needed to break up. I mean, everybody needed to break up that Bravo group. Somebody needs to be voted out.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, I'm gonna say this. Some of these women need to go.
No, come on. You're supposed to be a feminist now.
I know I'm trying. I'm trying, but some of these people gotta go.
Yeah.
And so we do see that then somehow Janelle gets thrown under the bus.
Because
Who
she
else?
said Larsa was suspicious for the cheers, and she was like, "You're suspicious or weird or whatever." However, she clapped back
She
at
was
her.
like, because it was just weird. Like you cheersing to Marcus and holding up your cup, like that could have been like a symbol of the poison, and it was just weird. And Larsa was like, your face looks weird. You're weird. I was like,
I wouldn't murder my boyfriend.
Oh, I wanted somebody to
Girl,
say,
you said
but
you would do that.
right.
I wanted somebody to say that so bad.
And so then Kevin somehow caught a stray. Like he went
That
from
was a good one. I like that interaction because he was like, "Why would I vote out CT?" And MJ's because he's a big guy, and he's like, "Why do you assume I'm threatened by a big guy?" I like
Right.
those clapbacks
I
were
said
good.
that's why I'm telling you Kevin is smart. They're underestimating Kevin's ass.
Right.
They sat there and said Kevin was stupid, and then during the round table tried to say, "Well, that's why you would be because Tamara was like she didn't want to vote for Larsa, so she had to pick somebody else." And she's like, "Well, that's why you would be a good person to be a traitor all of a sudden." And so now
Well, she did not liking Kevin though.
Right.
Right. She hate how he eat.
Right.
And he effectively and period shut her ass down.
Yeah, because she
Shut her
was
down.
making no sense. I loved his clapback. Why do you assume I'm intimidated by strong men? She didn't
Right.
have nothing to say because you're making stuff up. Well,
Yeah.
she didn't
Because
have nothing to
Tamara
say.
again is always
Just
loud
say
and
I'm
wrong.
not gonna vote for Larsa. Like
Yeah,
I'm
she
okay
say
with
that. I
that.
don't think it's Larsa. I'm not going to vote for her. You have the next highest vote, so sorry, you got to go. Instead of
Right.
looking goofy with ridiculous reasoning. Yeah.
So I think those were the only couple that caught strays on this vote. But
Then Parvati, or
Dawn got one.
no, she didn't get a vote, but Phaedra was very mad that Parvati suggested that
The housewife.
the housewives need to be looked at. She
Right.
was mad that Parvati said like they they know how to put on is basically what I was taking
They
from it.
act. They're
Yes, they
actors.
act. They turn it up for their DRs. I don't have anything else to call it. Their confessionals in the
Yeah.
Right.
housewives, and I think she was trying to call attention to the fact that they can act. They can get over. They know how to bring it. So we can't overlook them. And that had Phaedra hot as hell. She was
Oh,
like,
Like,
you talk about
"Parvati."
all
a
of them.
death stare. You talk about. I mean, she gave her this look, and Larsa was like, "We do not put on. It's reality. We act. It's our lives. We're showing our lives." And Phaedra was like, "Don't do that. Don't make it
She
seem
was
like we are gay.
so mad.
Don't do that. Why would you say that? Why would you lump all of us together?" And I was like, "Oh, she gonna when they get back to that." I knew it. I was like, when they get back to that thing, she gonna let her have it because
Yeah.
you don't know her. You don't
She
know her.
she doesn't realize that what she was trying to do, because I guess she's in the Bravo connection. She didn't get the memo, and this is going to be the hardest part for them working together. She didn't get the memo that they were
Larsa
throwing Larsa under the
under the bus.
bus,
Yeah.
and that in order to do that, Parvati had to use the housewife cover. I mean, she couldn't say Bravo. The
Right.
housewife cover as the way to pave. I mean, it worked. It worked.
Yeah. And I'm seeing like such varying opinions. People think Parvati threw the first shots at Phaedra. Like
She did.
maybe she could have found a different way to word it because Phaedra's naturally going to be wrapped in with that. I don't think that was her intention. That she wanted
That
to put
wasn't her
heat on.
intention though, because I'm gonna tell you why.
Wait, one
Because
second.
beforehand,
I don't think that was her intention to put heat on Phaedra specifically. I just think she wanted to get eyes on the housewives. That whole conversation that her and Dan had about getting Phaedra banished and blah blah blah. I think that wasn't the intention tonight.
Right.
no, but she wanted to put it out. It wasn't. She wasn't focused on Phaedra specifically,
Right.
but she wanted to get it out there so that they would start looking at all of them because she's laying the groundwork, and Phaedra could see that. Phaedra knew she wasn't trying to get her out this here night.
I don't think she knows that she wasn't trying to get her tonight. I think she
I
did.
hope they have a
never said her
conversation.
name specific. She said Lars's name specifically, and then said the housewives because they're actors. But she kept saying Lars's name specifically, so everyone knew she was focused on Larsa. But Phaedra knew that she was going to get some of that heat. She was going to get some of that pushback.
I
because
don't
now
think she
you said
said
the
Phaedra's
housewives.
name initially when she said that statement that the housewives put on, that the housewives need to be looked at. She did not mention Larsa at first because they also were saying MJ as well
But she's
because
not
they
a
were saying.
housewife.
But what I'm saying is they were saying that clique. They were saying that clique is what needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
But which is why I'm saying she can't. She's saying housewives, but she means Bravo. She means Bravo.
Because MJ is Bravo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shaw's of
anybody
Sunset.
else
Shaw's of Sunset comes on. Well, it
Yeah.
did. It's
is
been
canceled, but
Yeah.
that's Bravo too.
yeah.
Right. So
Oh.
Tamara's on
Orange County Housewives.
Orange County Housewives, but I
Hmm.
don't think it's still on, right? Like that
Yes,
got
it is. Yes, it is.
is it okay? Because I
Yeah.
know it got canceled and came back, and I thought it might.
No,
have
it never got canceled.
Oh, so which one got canceled?
Dallas. Dallas got canceled. Dallas.
I thought one of the that's I thought
Tamara got put off the show and then brought
oh,
back on. The
okay,
show was
maybe
never
that's what I'm
canceled, but
thinking.
she was off for a couple.
Um,
Yeah,
so
I
I think that's what Parvati meant, but she's saying
oh
she's grouping them as housewives. But so
God,
then
which is the
in
smaller pool.
Right.
right,
Yeah.
which in Phaedra's head to me would
Hmm.
be like you're paving the way to get me out, and we're supposed to be working together.
Yeah, but like this is like Phaedra's reaction from here, like to the very end of the episode. I'm like, this is the difference between somebody that plays these games and somebody that doesn't. Like I said, I don't think Parvati's intention was to get Phaedra tonight, but they can't not talk about that facet. Do you know what I mean? They can't not speak about certain people because Phaedra's in that group. The same way Phaedra will probably talk about the gamers or the survivors or whatever. They can't not ever say her name.
Oh
So,
yeah, no,
I mean,
absolutely.
say that group.
That
Like,
group,
so they're going to talk about your
and
group,
you
and you
don't
can't
want
take it.
her to come to the end. If you are Parvati or Dan, you don't want her to come to the end with Larsa, MJ, Tamara, Sheree, like because
No,
they will vote their asses out and
and
she
rock with
will
them.
win.
Yes, yes.
Almost
And
definitely. I get it, but I'm just saying when you put that out there, you got to be ready for her to come back.
Oh,
You have to be
well, I mean, we don't know how Parvati is going to take it, but I what I'm saying is for the audience, like I think it's fair for Phaedra's read on it because I don't think she understood exactly what Parvati was doing, but also Parvati was playing the game properly.
but
Parvati
perfect,
is
but you also
absolutely
have to let
playing
the
the game
person
properly.
know. But again, this goes to the fact that Dan and her are like this, and Phaedra is the one on the
On the
outside
outside, yeah,
because you're letting Dan know what you're doing, and Dan is
right.
putting in your head what we got to do. But you're not saying to Phaedra tonight, Phaedra, it's not about you. When I get in there, I'm about to put on, but just know it ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm trying to set the
Mhm.
groundwork because I'm trying to get her out. Because then it makes it seem like we're lock and step.
But I
right.
don't know
Phaedra
how
can,
she would be able to do that because she does not have a relationship with Phaedra.
Yeah, and I don't think
but they
that
should
they
have
did
a
a lot
traitors
of.
relationship. But this is
No,
so
they
that's
don't.
what I'm
Like
saying. That's why
their
Phaedra
only
feels
time they
like
get to
both of
meet
y'all.
is in the middle of the night, and they didn't get to meet the night before. Remember, because they did the golden chalice, they weren't allowed to meet. They had to do it in front of everybody, and they all went their separate ways. So what I'm saying is, they have not built enough rapport for them to trust themselves. And I don't know. I mean, each other. I don't know how they can build that rapport because they are not going to be able to have that.
They
Like they at this point, they might as well just use that animosity that they quote unquote have with each other and ride that out through the game because trying to be friends is not going to work. They're not going to be able to have a conversation moving forward.
Right.
I think
We never
that
had to be friends, but we should have had an understanding. We
yeah,
don't have to be friends because we're here to do a job, but just let me have an understanding with you. Because
right.
when I don't have an understanding, then it becomes a misunderstanding. And when there's a misunderstanding, all of this goes downhill, and one of us might be paying real consequences for the misunderstanding.
I think that because Sandra got the information, took it to the people that she's working with that include Parvati and Dan,
Mm-hmm.
they had a heads up as to the direction that they wanted that roundtable to go in. Phaedra did not. Phaedra rocks with a different crew, which is
Right.
mostly the housewives.
That's who
And the
she's
crew that
sticking
they,
to. That's who she's talking to.
yes,
She
she's
is
not
not
hanging out with
going
those two
outside
people.
of that.
Right. She's not hanging out with them. So they didn't have the opportunity to tell her. Had they even told her, I think she would have tried to shut it down because she's going
Correct.
to feel like that's bringing heat. But hopefully, like Tamika said, if Parvati would have said, like, look, this is what we're going to do tonight. It's not about you. We got your back. But they didn't have a chance
They
for that to
didn't have
happen.
the
And
chance.
and if we watch the clap back later, it is, if you pay attention to how it is edited, you
Mhm.
can tell that Parvati said something back. They ain't show it. They just showed her going the whole time. But some of the things that Phaedra said, you could tell that she's responding to something Parvati said. I don't know how much we're going to get of that when the next
Mhm.
episode starts. I don't know how they're going to explain it to her or break it down. I hope they can work it out, but
This is why Cerie's game should be admired and upheld. She was in with so many people. So many people trusted her on as a survivor, right? So like she was in the poverty position as a survivor. She had so many connections to Bravo still. She had connections to Big Brother. They trusted her. They took her word for stuff. She could go outside and have conversations outside of her alliances and be able to play both sides to get to the end. Right now, Phaedra and Parvati can't.
That's not true because if you when Janelle walked into the room into the breakfast room, she goes, "Oh, it's all my favorite people. I trust them. Phaedra is the only housewife that I trust. These are the people I like and that I rock with. I
But
don't know if y'all
Janelle
caught that.
also
She
trusts
doesn't like any of the other ones. CT
Janelle also
has
trusts Parvati.
Mm-hmm.
right. She doesn't trust Parvati, but she trusts Phaedra. So I'm saying Phaedra and then CT and Phaedra have a connection. So Phaedra
Mhm.
has connections outside of this. She
She's not
doesn't have
using
one
them.
with
Then she's not
Parvati
using them. Then she's not using them. So
that
so
she
she's
is
not
using it because they're
using
not saying her
her
name.
connect. She, but it's not just about not saying your name. It's about getting to the end. You need to use the connections that you have to build connections on the other side so they don't say your name. You understand?
No one's saying Phaedra's name though. They're saying Parvati's name because Parvati doesn't have the connections. Phaedra has the connections. That's what I'm trying to get you to see.
I
That's
don't
why
think
they're
that's
trying to
true.
get her. That's
I
why
think
Dan.
Phaedra said that people have been saying Parvati's name. I don't think that's true that all these
Oh,
people
I
are
heard
saying.
people say Parvati's name, but that's why Dan and Parvati are saying that they have to get Phaedra out because they know she's never going to be banished because she does have the connections. That's why they're trying to do this trickery to get her out because they're trying to plant seeds because they know she's not going to be banished.
I don't
So
think it's because
I
she doesn't have the connections. I just think that who is going to be suspected first would
right.
be those two over a Phaedra. That's how I feel. When Dan and Parvati were having the conversation about needing to get Phaedra out, I agree with that because they're going to, I feel like both of them would be banished before a Phaedra. People would suspect Parvati and suspect Dan before that they would Phaedra. I would. Would you guys not suspect if you know their history? But like they're gamers, I think that they would be hot before Phaedra. I understand them wanting to get rid of her. I understand if these people are getting hot. It's been how many people have left? 6, and they have not caught a traitor. If they give them Phaedra
Mhm.
and then
But
recruit,
they
I don't know
also
who.
have it. But look at who has gone. Ekin not a housewife. Marcus was a housewife adjacent, but we
Yeah.
know his girlfriend said she would kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? Bananas, not a housewife, a gamer. Deontay left, so we know he's faithful, but whatever. And then who was the other one?
Larsa, who's a housewife,
No. Wasn't there one other person?
Max.
Matt.
Max, not a, so at some what Parvati is saying is correct because at some point you got to look at the housewives because that's what it was coming down to. Like there's only CT, well, Bravo. There's only CT, Trishelle, Dan, Janelle,
Parvati, Sandra.
and Parvati
Parvati
and
and
Sandra.
Sandra. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother 6 people. I mean, that you could look at before you look at the housewives.
But
I
she's
just
one of them.
felt
She
like
ain't gonna say that.
they wanted to counteract Dan, so they wanted to put it on Larsa, which is fine. But she just felt like, saying the housewives were heat on her, and so that just started a whole
Yeah,
fire.
and I am the first. I've been saying this all over social media. I understand Phaedra's frustration, even because, especially because they didn't have. She wasn't privy to the plan that they had. Right? She wasn't privy that Larsa was the target, at least to my knowledge. So I understand her frustration. I just personally think that she handled it all wrong. Like I wish that she would try to have a conversation instead of saying, "I'm pissed. I'm this. I'm that." Like, guys, what happened? Like, why did you guys like lump this stuff? Everybody together, why would you lump me in? And then they could have explained the plan to her. To me, what she gave them was ammunition to extra, because they were already talking about it before any of this happened. To me, she gave them ammunition to extra want her gone. If she's saying y'all not cool, y'all threw me.
That's
If
what I'm
she's
saying.
coming
I'm
out there,
saying the
why are they
trust
gonna?
is not there, and I don't
Yeah,
know how they can build it
right.
because
But
the only time that they have to meet is
she's
at
gonna
night
have to
because
find
she's
time during the day.
away.
They have to find time during the day. But do you guys not think that if Phaedra had approached it like, I mean, great, it was a great TV moment. Everybody liked to clap back, blah blah blah, even though it was
Wait, which
edited that
clapback? The
way.
clapback at the round table or the clapback in the
At
Traitors
the
Tower?
end, at the
Sorry, the
end,
Traitors Tower. Okay.
in the
I
Trader Tower.
wish that Phaedra would have came in and be like, "Y'all, what happened?" Like, I felt like you guys, like,
Put on the Southern charm.
yes, use that same old charm to express that, like, try to understand where they were. She could be pissed to all positivity, but instead of clapping back at both of them like she did, go out there, since nobody likes her, Phaedra. Go out there and say, you know what, y'all, start spreading seeds if
Oh,
you want to
she
get them
will. I
hot.
think she's
But I
about to
think,
do it.
yeah, that's how she
But
needed to
but
do it,
I
not
also think
attack
that
them.
might be that's gonna. I don't think that this is the time for her to be doing that.
Me neither. I don't either. But I'm just saying, I think that her reaction is going to extra make them want to carry out trying to get her banished. They might not have, you know what I mean? Sooner than they might have.
But
And I think that they will
that,
win.
like you said, poverty said something to her because she was confronting them at first, but she wasn't going as hard as she was at the end. And when she looked at, because Dan was trying to act like, what happened? What happened? And I think that ticked her off because now you're trying to insult my intelligence because you saw what just happened in there. And then I think Poverty was saying some stuff back to her, like you said, they edited it out. And I
Yeah.
think that's why at the end she was like, and both of y'all, because we can play this game fair. If that's what you want to do.
Dan
I
was
think Poverty
clueless.
was saying
Dan
something back
Dan
to her.
had no clue. He thought that what happened
Like,
at
why
that
are you
round
so
table.
pissed?
He thought that what happened at that round table was a play, was an acting, because he was like, wait, what happened?
Mhm.
He's like,
Yeah, and I'm mad that we are never going to get the full scope of that
I know.
conversation. We're going to get the bits and pieces because, like I said, it was obvious that that was a back and forth, that she was responding to things that Poverty said.
well,
But instead,
let's see. Maybe the next episode, because sometimes they do will go
Oh
back
yeah.
and start again, and maybe they will give us the full context of the not the full, but
yeah,
give us
more.
the back and forth, right? So we can hope for that.
I hope
But
so.
I do feel like, I just feel like I understand where Phaedra's coming from. I understood where Parvati was doing. I don't feel like anybody is playing this incorrectly. What I'm saying is, in order to get farther in the game, they have to trust each other. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So one of them will
I
have to go.
know. And I think at
And
this
I
point
think
they're
it's
not
going to
gonna
be
trust it. And
Phaedra.
I
I
think at this
hope.
point it's broken. I think I don't know, maybe they can patch it up, but I think I agree with you that they have to trust each other. But I don't know because of the egos, I don't know if they're gonna be able to come.
But that's my point. If they lose Dan and it's just them two, they are screwed.
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you. And which is
I
why I'm saying to you that Phaedra needs to utilize her other side, her Janelle, CT, whoever else she got on the other side,
to keep
to
her
help
name out of
build
it.
that bridge. And it's not just about keeping her name out of people's mouth. It can't be.
Yeah,
Because
she
there's
gotta
been points
know.
where people said Cerie's name while they were playing, but she still never got voted out.
Yeah, people are gonna say your name. People are gonna
Correct.
talk about you. The other faithfuls are gonna say things that like might make like upset you. But I don't know. I just wish Phaedra would have went about it a different way because I truly don't know how they're gonna fix it. Like she's
I don't
so
know.
upset.
I
And
know.
like Phaedra, this is a game. Like we have to. I just feel like the difference between the gamer and a reality star shows here. I just wish she had handled it
I
differently.
can I can see that point as well.
I think that they're going to try to get her banished quicker than they would have tried to get her banished. Because they're like, we can't work with that. That's what I feel like is going to happen now. For certain. It might have happened regardless, but I feel like it's going to happen pretty quick now unless they can smooth it over and will. Because she even said to Sandra, I wanted to vote for Parvati.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you're
I'm
saying
just
it
like,
to Sandra,
Yeah.
And
who is a
Sandra's gonna be
gamer,
down with
and
it.
she's already agreed that that crew is
Just bad.
that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
why
But
I'm
I
saying
think
what I'm saying.
Sandra will turn on Parvati. I
Oh no,
think
she would absolutely turn on Parvati,
And
but not if
if
that's going to take out her number. She will turn on Parvati
right, she will
again.
not. She will rock with her. From what I know of them and
Right.
watching them for many years, she will rock with Parvati now. Right now, she's
Yeah.
going to keep the
Even if she finds
Parvati,
out she's a traitor,
PT,
thinks she's a
Dan
traitor, whatever, she will rock with
rock with
her
her
till
until
the
later.
end and get her
And
out.
take her later. That's how I feel. Sandra's not going to do that right now because if she turns on her crew, these other
Yeah,
people definitely going to get her. Her
correct.
crew is less likely to get her at this point. She could not trust Parvati, but going on the attack for Parvati would happen later. I
Right.
feel like
She said
she's
it.
going to
She
get all
said
these
the
other people
first.
first.
She said it the first episode. She don't trust Parvati. She said
right.
when the minute she sees some distrust, she will get rid of her. But again, she will rock with her till that point. Meaning, if she sees Parvati coming for her, she gonna be like she's the traitor, right?
Right.
Like that.
That's what Sandra will.
She ain't gonna do that until that's point. And I don't think that Parvati's gonna make that mistake to Sandra. She needs Sandra. Sandra is the
Mhm.
like one of
Number.
the only numbers skin in the game that she has.
And
Mhm.
as weird as that interaction was between them on episode 1, I've seen them talk about it outside of the game since then. She's like,
Mhm.
after that moment, they made up. It was all cool, and they were riding together. Basically, is what I've heard them say. So I think that she's just going to rock with her, and they rock together in that season. I'm telling you to watch. They rock together. Parvati saved her, and then Sandra damn won. But Parvati saved her, gave her idols and stuff. She will rock with her until they don't need each other
Yeah.
anymore, and then it'll be a different story.
Then it'd be a different story. So we do have some more comments here. Dabu said, so Deontay got Max eliminated and only to leave the next morning. Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, unfortunately.
And Dabu says, Sheree voted for John, but doesn't think he's again,
Yeah, it was a burn vote.
it was a
Stupid.
But my thing is, if they would have talked, they could have kept their Larsa and done somebody else, but they didn't even talk.
no. Kevin, like, because if she had voted for, I think they would have gotten Kevin out. If she had voted for Kevin, they would have gotten Kevin
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
I think they might have needed just one more vote. Kay says Faye needs to step it up a bit and be 10 times ahead of Parv and
Dan.
Dan, I would assume.
He
Yeah.
means Dan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. She can't just roll with her crew. Like, you are not they like, while it's nice that you're a clique with them, that's not your crew. You are a traitor. You've got to figure it out during the day. However,
You're gonna have to find a way to talk to them. Like I don't, you have
Well,
to.
and they have to find a way to talk to her, and they have to
Mhm.
also get, because they're in their clique too. They're not socializing with the other side as well, so they all need to try to mix it up all together.
But if for Phaedra, Dan and Parvati are obviously
I
closer,
was
and
gonna say she's
they
the
make a
odd man
point
out.
to talk. We see
Yeah.
it, so that's why I want Sandra can't or Phaedra can't force them to rock with her, but
Right.
she could
She
try to
has
be
to
more
force her
involved with
way
them. And it's
in.
not
Right.
placing blame on her. I'm not saying
No,
that. It's just if they're
it's
closer and
gameplay.
you know you're not as close with them, you gotta work so that they
Harder.
want you and they need you, and you can offer something, the
Or
numbers
you
and
have to work
something.
with people close to them, be like, oh, can you
Yeah,
tell Dan and
and I
Parvati
think
that
she's
I
gonna
think
have to
it's
do it that
Larsa?
way. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
she's gonna have
Willingly?
to do it that way.
Yeah, it has to do it that way. Like, talk to CT. Like, well, you know, I really want to tell Dan and Parvati that I think it's like MJ, right? Like in here with me, but I'm afraid I don't want to turn on them. And then that way that it will get back to them, because they'd be like, well, I spoke to Phaedra, her and I talked, and she was thinking it might be MJ. Or they won't even say Phaedra's name. They'll be like, I heard it could be MJ, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think
and
they're gonna try to
you're
get Phaedra.
hearing it
She's gonna have to do
from
something. They're gonna try to get her. She's gonna have to do
They
something.
really are. And the only way that she can avoid it is by having people on her side, as many people as
on both
possible.
sides, on both.
All sides, yes.
Yeah.
So if she does have a relationship with Janelle, because like you said, Janelle was like, oh, I'm glad Phaedra's here. because Janelle knows Dan and respects Dan and played
She
with Dan.
does.
Right.
Janelle knows Sandra and Parvati's game. She talked about them in the Big Brother house, right?
Yeah.
She has that connection with them. So Phaedra doesn't want Janelle to be in their crew or more loyal to them than she would her. So she got to stroke that
She's a
relationship
number
so
for her.
that if Phaedra's name comes up, she's like, you know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
want people to have your back. Because
Right.
did you watch
Then you would
Canada,
know.
Missy Joy?
Huh?
You watch the Canadian Traitors
Traitors.
with
Yeah.
Kuzi? See, like if that week when Mike was able to get Kuzi banished, Kuzi had numbers, but unfortunately Mike went around sprinkling all them seeds and nobody said a word to
And got to
Kuzi.
that right, and
Like if
that's what she needs to do. If you know that Janelle's a number for you, even if she's a number for them, but you can get her closer to you by just building that even more rapport. Like, oh, I'm worried. Somebody let me know. Somebody say my name, because even if it's not like somebody on the other side saying his name, even if it's just Dan and Parvati saying your name, you got to lay the groundwork so that if they say your name, you
you
find out
find
first.
out. Yes.
You find out
Because it's
first, because then you can do what, like Mike
something.
Kuzi, because Kuzi didn't even know her name was out there. Mike had laid the groundwork.
He
And
was
then went on the
treacherous.
attack.
He was
He
treacherous.
laid it, and because I feel like if Kuzi had
If
known,
she had
she
known,
could
Right.
have tried to do something because she had
yeah,
ammunition against Mike.
she
She just
did. Yeah.
got sprung on. So I feel like Phaedra needs to do the same. I'm completely with you that Dan and Parvati are over here, and here's Phaedra.
Mhm.
But she can't make them come to her and be
Yeah.
loyal. She got to get with them and get
Yeah.
with their people too
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
try to
she gonna
avoid.
have to
That's
go
why,
around them. She
yeah,
gonna have
because
to
they're
go around
after
them.
her.
Yeah.
They
Because
want her.
you're not a faithful. You are a traitor. You can try to pretend to be a faithful as much as you want to, but you are a traitor. And at the end of the day, if you want to keep your life in this game, you have to play it that way.
Right.
So Kay does say, well, they already started to try banning her regardless if she did that or not. So yeah, call them asses out. No, I have no
No.
problem with that. I have no problem with that.
See, I think that was a mistake. Go ahead and call him out, but they're gonna get you rolling out the door. Because I want her to hand like Phaedra going off is good TV. People like to watch it. They like to, oh, she gagged her, blah blah blah. But I want Phaedra to last, and I feel like had she just approached the conversation differently, as
Mhm.
opposed to run and say, "Hey guys, what was that about? I don't understand why you would bring." And then they could say, "Well," and even if Phaedra's pissed, she needs
Mhm.
to take that and put it in the game. And if you think that they need banished, which you can agree with or not agree with, she needs to take that and take it to the game because
Mhm.
now they're potentially upset with her and potentially the both of them could work against her now because how she came at them. And if when she would have approached it a different way, that might not have, still could have, but might not have happened. And I don't want her to go right now.
I
You
think
know?
it's okay saying if I was Phaedra, I would spin it and put out certain this about Parvati, because they are gonna try to
I
get
feel
her.
like
Yeah, but see, this is why I'm saying they might have to just roll with this and kind of do like a Kate and Rachel thing. So I know, Janelle, you didn't really watch all of last season, but
right.
Kate from
I heard she
Below
coming
Deck.
back.
They're bringing her back.
They're
Yeah,
bringing
Yeah,
her
which
back.
I thought they were bringing her back this episode, but
so did I.
it was very weird. And also, Dan is supposed to, Dan Will is
Dr.
Dr.
supposed
Will.
Will.
to, Will's
Dr.
supposed
Will
to
is supposed to come back and just host
host a comp,
a
right? Which is
challenge, but
where
she's supposed to be coming back to
coming back
play.
into the game as a secret player, which I thought it was tonight, but obviously not. But so my whole thing is, if they play it like Parvati and Phaedra against each other, like they did Kate and Rachel, because they did that and lasted a very long time, right?
Right.
They
Yeah.
could maybe keep that going. Kind of like what Tiffany and Ozzy would do. Like they would be outside and then find ways to meet and secretly have
Hmm.
conversations.
That's
So
what
people
Phaedra needs.
thought that they hated each other, but they were really working very closely together, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Kay says yes, that's what I was thinking. Sprinkle them seeds. Yeah, so that's I think that's what they're gonna have to do. And Kay said, yeah, Kate is coming. Yes, no, I get PR from Peacock. Kate is definitely, they sent us her bio. She is definitely coming back. I just
They
thought
say
it was
when.
I thought it was tonight, but maybe it is
Because I heard
episode 5.
what's your name quit. And that's why Kate come. Kate come. Yeah.
Deontay?
Tamara.
Tamara.
That's
Oh,
what I heard. I don't know if it's true.
I don't
I
know.
don't know, child. It was an episode. It
I mean,
was
I
so
It
didn't get anything
was. It
about
was. I
Beyonce
love
getting
this
there.
show. I love
good.
this show.
So I will say while this is definitely not season 1, I'm absolutely here for this season. I'm excited to find out of this group who wins, because
Me too.
it could be anybody, to be fair. For real.
I
Listen,
know. Because I have
I
been
need it to
blocking
be
all
my
the spoilers.
girl.
I don't want any spoilers.
I
Yeah,
love
no,
spoilers, Miss T Joy.
I
You
hate
do?
spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want
Dabu says, is Kate coming? Yes, Dabu, Kate is coming back into the game. I think we did see a little montage of that episode 1 where it said, oh, you're going to be the secret player. I believe that is going to be Kate. I think she's coming in like maybe with Dr. Will, and they're going to be like, oh, they're not really playing the game, but I think Kate's going to come back in and play the game. And like,
I liked her. I liked her.
oh, I liked Kate.
Mm-mm.
So that's what I'm saying. I think if they do that, that the Parvati against Phaedra, like Kate versus Rachel thing that they had, they might be able to get away with it. But they also have to talk. They also have to talk.
Yeah.
I can imagine where this is going, y'all. I really can't picture what's gonna happen next episode.
But that's the best part.
I'm interested to see what Dan and Parvati say to each other about all this. And poor Phaedra doesn't even have anybody to outside of them. She can't even go vent her frustration. Child, look, you know what I mean? They have each other. I feel like she's on the outside of the Traitors, and I'm interested to see if she can work her way back in or what this does with her.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want to see. Because again, not like everybody is not a master strategic mind. We know this, but there's also social gameplay, which I love.
Yeah.
And there's ways to do it. And yes, you can come in hot. I don't have a problem with her coming hot, but how do you rebound? How do you fix it?
Exactly.
How do you get back in and get on the other side? And that's what I want to see from Phaedra. Right. If I can see that from Phaedra, I think she has a good potential to get to the end of this game.
Don't say that.
I have to do that.
I'm not saying that against Parvati.
No. I'm just saying I don't want it because I feel like she's such a threat.
Right, but I'm just saying I have to do that. Like things eat me up if I don't say what I need to say to get it off my chest. I don't hold grudges if I can say what I gotta say, because I can say it and then move on. Like we can hash this out, then we can move on and we can pivot. But me not saying it and just like trying to hide it because I'm trying to play. I'm already hiding that I'm a traitor. I can't be hiding from you too. Now I'm gonna have to tell you this. You gonna listen to this and then move forward. Because I'm saying, even though I'm going off, I'm saying we can play this fair now. So I'm still letting you know, like, after I get this off my chest, we can play fair.
Right. Like, I'm not the hugest Phaedra fan, but again, when he chose her, I was like, I can see it. I can see it. So it's just about how it's played. So I want to see it. And again, this is not personal. Like, play the game. Play the game. Play the game.
And I feel like if I were Dan and Parvati, I'd be like, see, we can't work with this. She can't even. I don't know. I want next week to happen already so I can see how.
I know.
Like,
no, guys.
I wish they were like the UK. The UK does like 2 or 3 episodes a week.
Yeah, yeah, they do. But the problem is you have to have a VPN, and people ask me to cover it, and I will cover it if it comes to Peacock. And then we can cover UK. But I'm covering Love Island, which, guys, I'll probably stream a recap of Love Island tomorrow or Sunday. But it's too much to cover. 2 Traitors plus Love Island that comes on.
Oh, I agree. I was just saying I like that they release more episodes a week. I hate that we're having to go to 1 episode a week now. Yeah.
And then there's going to be 11 episodes. Kay says, I do have a VPN to have a VPN. You don't have to have a VPN to watch the UK.
Unless it's on like Daily Motion or something.
I watch it on Daily Motion. That's what I watch.
Daily Motion you don't need it for.
Episode 5. I'm catching up.
You don't like Daily Motion?
Guys, listen, we're not trying to get the website shut down.
Oh,
So
I told you I'm supposed to be. No, shut up.
oh, I didn't know that. Sorry.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so K is also right. You can fix your Fire Stick to do it. Again, listen, there's all sorts of illegal ways that I personally am not telling you
Co-signing.
guys to
I
do
get it.
and
I get it. I get
co-signing.
it.
Like we are not about that life here. There's
We're
ways.
upstanding citizens
you
here on
you
this
can
on
always
this
message
great
me
recap.
and we'll find ways for you to watch. Anyway, Kay's laughing at me. So that is it for these 4 episodes. We will be back 1 episode a week. Unfortunately, for 11 full episode season, but I am here, guys. I am enjoying this.
Me
Again,
too.
I really do feel like USA might be my favorite, with Canada probably coming second because it's in the same style, all reality stars, and there's just so much gameplay involved that makes this so interesting to watch. Kicking is a mess, and it's not good. So, guys, where can the people find you, Miss T Joy?
Oh, you can find me at Miss T Joy on YouTube and all social media. So yeah, come follow me.
Mm.
Yep, and same as always. I'm Janelle Michaud on everything: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Hopping on with you guys, hopefully every single week. I know I'll be on Silent Podcast about this show as well. So I am excited for the season. I can't not wait till next week. Like I have such an attitude that I have to wait.
I know we're so used to the back-to-back stream. I will tell you. When I was first introduced to the Traitors, I literally just was watching. I watched all of them. I watched USA, UK, and Australia back to back to back. I have since had to go through a Canada season, which Kicking It with K says Canada Traitors suck. Canada Traitors was really good. The ending sucked. There is a difference.
The
There
way
is
that girl
No.
threw away that money, the way she just
exactly, exactly. So
she been rocking with that man the whole time, and then at the end she talking about, oh, I can't trust that. I can't
right,
trust
that was
that.
the
And
dumbest
my thing was, even if you're not sure, you've been rocking with him the whole time.
whole
Wouldn't you
time.
want your friend to
Right,
have the money?
Exactly.
right,
Like I'd rather get
It's
played
either
by my
you or
friend
me.
than
I'm good with that.
right,
right,
right.
not him.
Not
I
him.
always knew she
Ugh.
wasn't smart. The whole time I was like, she's not bright. She's not the
No.
brightest tool in the
And
shed.
then that every week thing was so hard. It was so hard because you just wanted to know what
Listen,
they were doing. And then I just binge watched Australia's second season, and whoo, that was a doozy. And the ending, if you have not watched Australia's second season, that ending was crazy and wild, guys. And so I enjoy the format. I enjoy the different variety of casts. I do hope UK does come to the US so we can watch it, and then hopefully we'll cover it. And also, Kate, if you missed it, we covered Traders Canada on this platform, so go back and watch our recap with that. And so, guys, thank you for joining us again. For me, you can find me on Entertainment in Color everywhere. And as I said, this weekend, some point, look out if you are a Love Island, UK, US, whichever one. I will be covering Love Island All Stars. I did stream recapped episode 1 and 2 with Chantel Francis over on her channel, Reality Realness with 3 S's. So I'm probably just gonna, if you want to find out what I had thoughts on for those 2 episodes, you can go over there and go check that out. And then I will cover these last 3 episodes that happened since then on my channel, and we could chit chat about that. So look out for that. I'll let you guys know when I am streaming that recap. And otherwise, follow me. You find out what else I'm covering elsewhere. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week. I hope you guys are enjoying it.
Bye.
Have a good one.
bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.